what's going on, y'all? Just talking in the chat, the side chat before we started. I'm not sure, what about this lawyer thing. I don't know. I haven't heard any mention in, or seen it in any of the documents that have been released. But it's not like it's a legitimate situation. It's a friend or a family friend like we were speaking of. Be interesting to know. It'd be interesting to hear from Malay at some point in time. What's going on, Lily? Celia? You have to just mind my voice tonight because I guess I'm just getting over this cold. I feel better today, but it's only because I took a bunch of NyQuil. Not to make me laugh and silly and giggle, but it's just shitty stuff. And I go and I take some NyQuil and I sleep for a couple hours. Then I forget what day it is and I get up and I'm like, oh my God, I must be sick. So I'm not going to, sniffle or hork or spit or cough in the microphone, just so you know ahead of time, okay? I'm not going to do any of the things that would otherwise chase me away from a live stream. They drive me nuts. And I hate listening to people when they're sick because they sound all congested. And it's almost really disgusting. It's almost like eating with my mouth open in front of you, but I'm going to do my best not to offend you. That's my cold open today. Hold on, I gotta mute. I better hit that microphone. There you go. The cough mic worked. You didn't hear it. I'll do my best. Good evening, Tasmania. I love to hear where you guys are from. Where are y'all from? Let me know in the chat at any one time. I love that. The question is how come I can't see you on my main stream? Why I can't see you up here? Let me get my live chat. Something's different. Where did I see? I see Tasmania one way, but I can't see it on the other one. Lynn, it's the coughing that drives you crazy. I'm not going to cough into the mic tonight. But I might, but it's not going to be into the mic. Sometimes it just happens, but I'm good. I've been preparing myself in that sense. Joyce, Northwestern Ontario? Joyce, I want to be up with you. I want to be up there and live up there. Around Lake of the Woods, Fort Francis. Towing around the boat. I like that area of the country. It's just north of Minnesota. It's a different world than I live in. Lily, you're up in northeastern Ontario? It's more expensive. Northeastern. So you're talking like Cochrane, Temiskaming? New Liskeard? Or are you talking out near like Cornwall? I'm stuck here in the city. Fuck, I hate the city. I'm not a city type of guy. I got stuck here years ago because of a girl and then we broke up and I couldn't afford to go anywhere at that point in time. I'm like, fuck this place. I'm staying. So expensive. I realize how much I miss being in the outdoors doing things that I would normally otherwise want to do, especially when we sold the cottage. Now I'm kind of going through that. I'm like, holy shit, I need to do something. Oh yeah, Matheson, Iroquois Falls. Lynn, I used to own 178 acres up near, well, just on the Black River. There's a gold mine there. And it just bordered up near the gold mine. It's not like you could go pick up the gold. It's, don't think I didn't think about it. But you got to get it from the rock. It's not easy to grind up the rock and heat it up and do all that shit. It's a hell of a hydro bill. Yeah, on the Black River. Where I was in the Black River, it was really skinny, but you could still take it. And you could actually, boat down it a little bit. And then it opens up into a bigger river. It's a tributary into a bigger river up there. Bigger river system. That just marred with beavers. Beavers like you wouldn't believe, these big angry sons of bitches. Fucking crazy rodents. They get big and they get nasty. Territorial. Anyway, let's get this shit show started. You're near the boat. I know where that is, Lynn. Near the boat launch in Matheson. I know where that is, girl. High five to you. I was going to build on it. I was going to build on this property, but then I became single and a single parent. I had to get rid of it. But don't think I don't want to go back up there and buy it. See, they used to have, it's just off, if you know the area. See, when they built the new Trans-Canada through there, it used to be a highway called Highway 22, do you know what I mean? And sections of that old highway border it. And so does the train tracks up there. And then they stopped maintaining it and just let it grow in. Well, my property is just off of that. I accessed it through the train tracks, but my neighbor had like a crossing from an actual road into the bush there. So it wasn't exactly 100% accessible with your car, but you could make it accessible. Why it was so cheap. But that was my first chore. I got all kinds of stuff still up there I own, by the way. I've got a winch tied in a tree that's up 20 feet. It's still there. I got a wood stove that's sitting outside. That's still there. All kinds of tarps set up. They're not actually set up. Probably one or two is, but they're probably deteriorated by now. Whoops. An old tarpaulins. Huh. I almost got nailed by that train, Lynn. Me and my girlfriend at the time. We went up there on my birthday and we snowshoed in. I wanted her to... she was from Wales. I wanted to show her Canada. What Canada was really like. So what's a little bit of taste of the Canadian Shield? Oh, fucking Northern Ontario. Oh, it was horrible. We snowshoed in on the railroad tracks. Almost got hit by that damn train, if you could believe that. And I tell you, you don't realize how fast those things sneak up on you, especially in the snow, because it has such a muffling sound, right? Well, we were so exhausted just trucking, not even expecting that train to come. And we had to jump. We had to literally jump. You know how embanked they are. You know how it's like right out of an action movie. Literally. I lost my GPS and everything. Fuck. I can't. Still up there somewhere. Still up there in the ditch. Some deer's looking at it. Heaven's sakes. But thank God it was a soft landing. I had thought, because, you have to worry about yourself in the moment. I thought she actually got hit by the train. I was tripping. Ended up we were okay. She went one way. I went the other. There was nowhere to go on there. Because, with these gullies and things through the bush, they just bring it all up. They have to build it up, to make the tracks even for the train in that sense. And it was one of those embankment type areas. Oh my God. Fuck, you didn't come in here to listen to me go on about that. Just be bringing back all kinds of memories. Yep, I had a lot of big plans for that property. That led to our breakup. It led to our breakup, just so you know, too. But who gives a shit about that? That's why it led to our breakup. I'm like, fuck this. I thought I was living life. I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing for the next 25 years. I'm going to develop this place, and I'm going to figure out some way to get gold out of that rock. I'm trying to think about what that gold... Was it the Fox gold mine? It's a great big place. Great big fucking mine. And the area just borders all of it. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Sorry for the spelling. I was suggesting AB take some antihistamine for allergies. It's time of the year for allergies. Oh, well, thanks, Heather Feather. I just told you I've got a fucking cold. What does my allergies have to do with anything? It's a cold. You hear a cold. The vid. It's a year for allergies. Kind of is, I guess. Must be the goldenrod. No, it's from a bunch of kids at school. My daughter brought it home. Let's begin. Dudes, I got such an interesting... I just got such an interesting email, and I've went through it, and don't worry, don't freak out. Yeah, the Black Fox mine. That's right, Lynn. That's right beside my property. My property, the east side of my property, bordered it. Anyway, got me tripping. It's my northern hometown. Real estate's pretty cheap up there. Don't... It's nice to be able to access it without having to, probably would have made a lot better content. I wanted to incorporate it into my content. Yeah, we were almost neighbors, Lynn. Really? Fuck, you and I are almost neighbors. Probably go back and squat on it. Nobody would notice. That's a good thing about it. Nobody would notice. I didn't actually have to buy it. Shit, it's the middle of the wilderness. We went up there, I'm telling you, in the middle... You know how quiet it is there at night in the middle of February? But in the cold, noise travels really, seems to travel really far. That's when the wolves start howling and things like this. All these little packs of wild dogs, coyotes, wolves. Then I started to worry a little bit. I need a high dose of vitamin D. Why? Actually, that's true. I should probably get outside a lot more. Your body always needs vitamin D. I'm all right. I'm fine. I feel fine. Hey, sweet tea. I don't sound like I feel fine. I think the worst part of it is over. Yes, you have to differentiate between the synthetic vitamin D that you take in tablets and the vitamin D that your body produces when you're outside in the sun. That's the type that you need more of. That's right, Jeff Kelly. You can make your own ivermectin at home, by the way. It's probably important before they charge you an arm and a leg for it. You can do that. Excuse me. It's probably not as easy, though. Heather Feather, either way, antihistamines help with a cold. Yeah, we're already full of them. I think you could take, you could consider whatever the hell is in NyQuil to be an antihistamine. Are you telling me to take some of that there pseudoephedrine, that such valuable stuff to dudes like Daniel Martel? Dude, he extracts that and he, under pressure, combines it with some lithium to produce some of that their shake and bake he's addicted to. He probably has a load of cold medication, I would expect. It'll fix me up. Maybe that's what this is all about. But I appreciate the concern, Health Feather. You're so nice. Jen R., good to see you in here. Oh, no. No more. You're not getting near me with any sort of needles in my arms. You'll fucking have to take me down first. You may as well come at me with a bullet. I've been there before. We've all been there before. You're not doing that to me ever again. Terrified as it is about what I'm going to figure out because I've got these spike proteins fucking floating around inside me. You know it. I've got to figure some way to get them out. It's like the movie Alien. Like, what the fuck is inside me? I need to figure out how to get it out. And when I do, believe me, I'll be selling it on to everybody else. If I'm still alive. Maybe if you think you might be pregnant, please, no Tylenol, Jeff. Yeah. You're reading the headlines. Too many headlines. I'm trying to ignore them at this point. I'm trying to ignore them because, we're just getting rinsed again. We're just going through the same old cycle. The same old denials. The same old corporate media influence and your reconditioning to think or to start believing or considering two sides of another coin of bullshit. That's why I got my freeze dryer, because all of these medicines that have been studied previous that they poo-pooed in front of your faces, you can go to the grocery store and buy the ingredients, freeze dry them, mix them together, and do it yourself at home. That's not if Bill Gates already owns that fruit farm. Smart son of a bitch. Yeah, now you know why the dude bought up all that farmland. And still is. Oh my God. I don't buy anything from the United States ever since I saw them frogs turn gay. Atrazine. Isn't that what that is? The atrazine? Turning the frogs gay. You're not getting me. You're not getting me with that trick again. I don't care how cheap the apples are. They're just mostly sugar anyway, those disgusting fucking things. You got to get the bitter green ones, the Granny Smiths. Those are good. Oh my God, those are good for you. You like your Flintstones pill? Big Pharma's got their hooks in you, Julia. I did too, Flintstone tablets, just because they tasted good. What is that flavor? Is that tree, that bubblegum flavor that they put on that is so good? I like those too. The old type. Mary Janie, thanks for keeping us back on track. That's ridiculous. People should take a closer look at Malaya. But because she's not talking, there's nothing for anyone to pick apart, Mary Jane says. I guess that would be a benefit to Malaya. There's too much to talk about the things that we have done here, girl. That's what we're talking about. There'll be plenty of time to pass blame to Malaya when the time's right. But at this point, we can really see, I think, what's going on, or the relationship and the circumstances leading up. Do you guys want to fucking hear one? Are you ready? Sit down, grab your drink. You want to hear one? I'm going to read this to you. Let's get into another scene here. Excuse me. Let me slip into something more comfortable. There we go. Not that I'm trying to push this as a belief, but here's it's interesting. I love these little hypothesis theories, and I, for the most part, trust the individual. It has nothing to do with anything. I just want you to listen. I'm going to read this to you. All right, I'm just getting ready now, so prepare yourselves. Hey, AB, so just between you and me, I reported Justin's car to the RCMP. Some people say it was sold. I don't think it was. It would have been taken down on Daniel's Facebook, and it's still there. I have an interesting theory that Redacted we're thinking about. If you do share, please leave my fucking name out of it. And the tip I sent to the RCMP, I hope the next course of actions to have dogs search vehicles. AB, this is what I think happened. How do I do that? There we go. There we go. Hold on. I want to do this so I can do this. I think this happened. I believe that Malaya Brooks Murray was drugged up that morning. As Daniel laid with her and Meadow, he made sure she didn't get up and to not attend to Jack and Lily. I think that Justin and Janie snuck into the trailer, tied up and duct taped Jack and Lily and loaded them into Justin's car. Justin took them to Kent's garage. That's why Justin was crying afterwards. He knew what happened, and the guilt started to set in when he saw Belinda. Jack and Lily... hold on. When he saw Belinda... I'm losing my spot. Daniel purposefully left the drugs out for Jack and Lily to get into in the bathroom. Jack fell in the kitchen when the rugs kicked in. The That's why Daniel got caught in the bathroom by Malaya Brooks's family. That would be Haley. Jack and Lily OD'd, and they hid them at the garage. Daniel spent the night between 12 and 5 a.m. to convince us they wandered off by planting the blanket, boot prints on the driveway, the pipeline, and also hiding the mathematics lab that was in the shed. This also includes the star at the bridge with the help of Justin's car and ATV. That's what the neighbor heard of a 5-speed, okay? Once the searches tapered off a few weeks later, fires were purposely set to stop any more searches, including a fire at Kent's garage with Lily and Jack inside, including their boots and backpacks. Cleanup crew of Durwood and Jordan possibly, and Daniel helped Kent get rid of the damage and ashes by putting into garbage bags, then take them to the dump. This explains a lot. The fires and fire bans, the garage, the polygraphs, the water references, well water puts out fires. It would also explain that Kent's ex-wife's friends are harassing him in Sonny's room about dump references, saying the kids are at the dump. Daniel's truck or Escalade being towed had something to do with transporting. He wanted to get caught with the expired license, so it was towed and seized so the dogs couldn't search it. It was searched by the dogs. If it was searched by the dogs, he might have been caught. The secret meetings that Kent is having with Daniel and Durwood, all of it. It would also explain why Malaya hadn't talked since her interview. She later found out Friday night and had no choice but to go along with it. The cover-up, I think it was their plan all along with everyone involved to fool everyone else, until Daniel pushed the narrative. Thoughts? Any questions? Feel free to ask away. Hold on. It closed out. What happened? I have to have it up like that. Okay. Excuse me. Isn't that interesting? Sandra says that's a lot. That's interesting. That's what you get. I mean, it's funny to me. It's funny to me, not that anything's funny about anything in there, but the fact that they want to pull Kent into all of this, it just, throw him to the wolves. I don't know. I can't sit there and tell you that he is or not. I just thought it was funny that this individual put so much thought into it and trying to tie it together, as opposed to just another sucker that's being towed along by necessity by a person who's committed a crime and trying to create and obfuscate a situation. Now, I'm not dismissing anything this person says. I mean, if you're writing out a script, absolutely, bro. I mean, there's a lot of truth in there. It's fantastic. But I don't know, and I can't verify how much of that would or wouldn't be true at this point in time. That's what I'll say to it. It's interesting. What a bullshit theory. What's wrong, Jeff Kelly? I haven't seen you in here before. What's up, bro? You don't like that theory? It's not bullshit at all. It's not bullshit at all. Are you sure, Jeff? Oh, let's see your ID, bro. What's terrible about it? The fact that it mentions your buddy Daniel? It doesn't matter who it's from. It's from Redacted, Julia. The fact that they wanted to throw Kent in there probably tells me it's a bit much. Probably tells me it's a bit much. But it gives Kent something to talk about. Everybody's out there. It gives him something to be paranoid about at that sense. I've been watching him over there in Mike's live chat explain away. It's pretty funny to listen to him. It's pretty funny to watch him. Like, there's a link in there. You know, I can't disprove it, but I can't prove it. But I thought it was hella interesting, and it's just a theory. I mean, it doesn't have to be directly, but there's a link there, and I think that what he's really doing is pointing out this link and wanting to make sense of this meeting between Durwood, Kent, and Daniel the other day. And there's all this talk about old Janie's sister-in-law being a relation to Kent's through marriage. As there's one of the brothers is married one of, Kent's relationship, or Kent's aunts. There's an interesting link there. Oh yeah, it's interesting, sweet tea. It is an interesting theory because the individual obviously doesn't believe in coincidences in that sense. And there's a coincidence with the fire at the particular business and the timing of it. The fact that they want to raise money over it. You know, have a GoFundMe. Well, there's costs associated with it, of course. That's why I don't trust them. I'm not about that. I don't push that sort of bullshit. You think they whisked her to detox, Mr. Hemi? Well, isn't that, that's really what Cindy did. Taking her away and getting her out of that environment was priority number one, in my opinion. You have to get her out of that abusive environment, and Cindy and everybody recognize that because it's an ongoing dispute. It's an ongoing scenario there. It happened often. Okay, as in Malaya said to Charmaine through those texts that anytime Malaya would contact her mother because she wanted to leave or get out of there, that he would prevent that from happening. He would hold her down in that sense. This happened often. She made note of that. That's very important. That should tell you and lead you into the sort of environment that the kids lived in. You were Sean. That doesn't sound like you know too much about the case at this point. You're telling me that you think that... Oh, you think Daniel... I thought you said Malaya. Personally, you think Daniel was wigged out and took the kids somewhere during the night. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm hallucinating. What's up, just made April? What makes you say that, though, Iwashan? That he wouldn't remember? Or he took them? Why would he take them in that sense? So what this theory is saying, I just thought of something in response. I know they'll be out there listening. So what you're saying is that Daniel really planned all of this out. That's what you're wanting us to believe. And he did it behind Malaya's back, kept her in the dark. and pulled a fast one on Malaya and pretending that and pushing that the children just voluntarily walked out, never to be seen again. And by the time Malaya found out, it was probably a bit too late. Or, well, it was too late in her mind at the time, is what you're trying to say. I get what you're saying. I get that's a possibility. We don't know any different because we don't have access to the information or any of the information that the RCMP would be privy to in their investigation with Malaya. She hasn't spoken publicly in that sense. When she has spoken publicly, it's been through text messages to Belinda Gray, Charmaine, which I'm happy for, by the way. And she's told us things that were completely contrary, a complete polar opposite. Let's really go that much farther there. Complete polar opposite to what Daniel wants you to believe. What does that tell you? Why does this fucking idiot, this douchebag, this abusive step-parent, who's not even related to the victims in this circumstance, have the need to sit in front of a camera and completely lie as in a real poor way too? It's not like you really are fooling people over being a caring parental figure in this circumstance. And by the way, Janie's voice really has toned down a little bit. In that drunk turkey video, you'll notice how chipper and happy she is. She really thinks that she's gotten away with something. She's has less load on her cognitive load on her mind. And she seems a bit more chipper. She loves to give you the tour. She sounds completely different than the bitch that she sounds like and everything else. Tells me that she's. Do you know what it is that we're probably hearing? Is the fact that she's back in the trailer and everything is back to normal in her life in that circumstance. That's what it tells me. Because there's no way that you could comfortably get on with things living in that RV in the backyard for 2 years. No running water, not you're stuck in a small space. It's one thing if you're out enjoying nature across, the US of A. But you're not. You're in your driveway, living. It's cool for a weekend maybe. But it eventually takes its toll on you, and it probably was a factor in Janie's poor disposition. She sounds a little lighter. Probably because she's back and she can have a shower whenever she wants. Probably even have hot water. Yeah, right, Sandra, homeless at home. That's what she was made to feel like. She's told us that through her statements. Like, we don't need to give them the opportunity to argue he said, she said. They tell us this. Janie must be on new medication, Osprey. Which is good for her mental health. I'm glad. That means that hashtag Free Fluffy's mental health just went up, to next level. Holy mackerel. That dog will be thankful. Now what are they going to do back there? Maybe the dog can live in that RV all by itself and just, core a hole in the door and it can slip in and out when it wants. What are you saying, Osprey? Hold on. I got to scroll up here. I got to talk to you. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. Excuse me. Pardon me. Pardon your ears there. What are you saying, Jeff Kelly? You believe that it's all still possible Malaya doesn't really know what happened? But that theory is bullshit? Oh, probably. Darlene, Janie has tripped over her words. She's very careful when talking about certain things. Yes, she's protecting her son, but I believe she knows. Well, yeah, I get that sense too there, Darlene. And she's really protecting Daniel. She's screamed that to us before. She would do anything to protect Daniel. Of course, she used it as a virtue signal in order to make us try and think that she would treat Jack and Lily in the same manner. See what she did there? Brian, you sound angry tonight, bro. He's doing a good effing job sucking the cops in. It's not about sucking in, even if he's, if he's guilty, if he's not guilty, which is low on the probability scale in this circumstance, almost impossible. He needs to be a part of what's going on in order to stay on top of it. You can't just sit there and let it come to you because he's that paranoid. It comes through in his language. That's why Daniel never makes sense. It dinks like a bell end, Cooper 1, 2, 3, 4. A penis. A dick. Yeah, you get that, Osprey? Janie must be on new medication, in my opinion, or she feels confident that the children won't be found and her boy won't go to jail, in your opinion. In your opinion. You said that twice. Okay. Yeah. She's free because I think that she's in free speech land now. What does that tell you? That she was not in free speech land before. She tells on herself. She gives herself away in this circumstance. She feels free because she thinks essentially the police believe her and her alibi. They're not going to know what the cops believe and don't believe. The fact that they insist that they're elevating themselves in front of a camera. The only reason the CBC keep putting you on is because they know that you're fucking lying and you're guilty in this murder, you stupid cunt. Okay? You make for great television, great statement analysis. You're a wealth of bullshit, Daniel and Janie. You're desperate. In no case anywhere in history did the last people that saw the individuals that are no longer with us and presumed dead ever not be a suspect. And they want not just to, address the case in a level-headed manner and talk directly and concise to things like Belinda does, like Haley even does. No. They have the need to be out here directing the narrative. We'll just call that, for the sake of a conversation, just a red flag. But what the fuck does that tell you? They have a need to cover their tracks. We take that for granted. We take that for granted here. That tells us that they're fucking guilty. Let the courts sort it out. Let the investigators stick to the fucking details. But it offers up all kinds of reasons to be theorizing on it. Daniel's not in front of the camera because he's innocent of anything. Not at all. He's up there because of how guilty he looks. And he's got to tell you all of the justifications and excuses. Nobody would really have the need to do that. The longer that this goes on, the more bizarre the scenario takes, or the turns it takes, because Daniel doesn't have anything left to refer to. He wants to elevate himself to a position of being an active member, participant of the investigation on the CBC. So this is just a complete compromise in a special case. Just this Daniel scenario. Like that's really a thing. No, dude. You're a suspect in all of this no matter what. You should have all of the available info you need to clear yourself in any situation. But you insist, Daniel and Janie, on us taking your word for it, because you would never tell us a lie. Fucking Peter Hyatt is rolling over in his grave. Well, I think that's the effects physiologically of the substances, Katie. Talking about they're all just going on with life except Daniel, who has his eyes wide open every moment. Even a tweaker's got to sleep sometime. You have a personal hate for DT? He's a jerk with the ridiculous theories that won't listen to reason? Oh, you're the fucking guys that go over there. Johnny Carson. Old Johnny over there. What? Andy H. word. Janie was the only one who did not pass the polygraph. The test was inconclusive. I don't think that, again, I don't think that there's ever any such a thing as passing or failing a polygraph. It's a tool to help them find a baseline for further questioning. Depends on what they need it for in the moment. Oh, congratulations, you passed. Oh, fantastic. You did such a good job, Daniel. Fantastic. You did such a fantastic job, buddy. Did anyone see my message, Lindsay says? Kent doesn't have an ex-wife. He was never married. Oh, well, there goes their theory. What is it? What do you mean? Who's talking about him being married? Yeah, people saw it. You think the dog's the only credible witness? And it's stressed out. It's losing hair. You think Drunk Turkey is smart. He may have an angle here. You never know. What are you talking about? He may have an angle. He's just filling a void in a vacuum of information at the point in time. And Daniel and Janie are in desperate need of directing the narrative out here at any one point in time. And they've shown us that they love to. So they can go and exchange that essentially for attention from particular creators or people with YouTube channels that have no problem. I recommend you do it with Cher. Go up to Cher and tell her all of your fucking secrets, Jane and Daniel. She comes highly recommended from like Billy Joe. What's Billy Joe's last name? And Lilani Simon. Billy Joe Simon? No, Billy Joe Howell. Savannah. So the dogs need to sniff Kent's place? I don't know. A lot of people are suspicious, but people are suspicious about everything. Anything. I'm not necessarily suspicious of him. I think he's being used in that circumstance. Daniel knows how to use and who to use people. He knows how to manipulate people. That comes with the territory. He's trying to really fit he's trying to fit into a different world in that sense. The fact that I know now that he's driving a 2016 Escalade, now that that just falls in line with you, dealing meth and things like this. Driving it around. Fuck, I wouldn't. Driving it around. Maybe he did want to get caught. I don't know. But, you know, the fact that he's under surveillance and he's all kinds of cops watching him, if they're watching him driving around breaking the law, it's just a matter of time. Are they running surveillance on them? What do you think that classified technology up there is that found that coyote and the beaver? It just sits up there in a balloon and it's geospatial in a geosynchronous orbit. Watches you all the time, Daniel. Can free up the RCMP cruiser. Do you guys remember Peter Hyatt? You guys are all fans, aren't you? Do you remember what Peter Hyatt? Do you remember what Peter Hyatt would teach us? Ken, what's going on in my chat? Hello, everybody. I guess there's some people in here that want to know my life story. A Osprey, Wolf, and A Balance. Ken, get the fuck out of my chat, dude. You didn't like the theory? Where are you? I gotta check. You're not allowed in here, Ken. I got to you. No, Ken, this isn't Mike's chat. we take it seriously. We don't like any form of manipulation in the chats, bro. I see what you type over in his other chat. You don't come over here and want to take over my chat. You don't like what I said? Go make a video yourself, you fucking bastard. I'm not about your shit. I'm not your fucking friend either. What you're probably pissed off about is that this dude called the RCMP on you and you're going to get a visit pretty soon. You want someplace to take that out on. Now you're going to go have to talk to the RCMP. Tell him that you have nothing to do with any of this theory of his. I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. So we'll see if the RCMP shows up. You can go fucking manipulate somewhere else. You're Daniel's friend. You don't fucking belong here, son. All right? I got no fucking questions for you, Kent. You're just a stunned cunt. I gave him a 24-hour timeout. He can come back tomorrow. Wind me back up. I'm not your fucking friend, Kent. I'm not looking to collab with you, bro. I'm not looking for your input. I'm about Jack and Lily. And that's not just to get the thumbs up, bro. Willing to entertain any theory. Why are you talking to Daniel and Durwood? You're so keen on finding out the reality and the truth behind a situation, yet with all of the obvious signs, you can't wait to get up in front of a group of people and misinform them? On the behest of 2 fucking missing toddlers, son. That's truly evil. Your ignorance is evil, Kent. Why don't you scoot on the fuck out of here with that wheelchair? I can't wait to find you. I'm going to shove you down the fucking tallest hill right into the goddamn Bay of Fundy. Downtown Truro. Somebody's defensive? I don't know. Yeah, I like how that worked out, though. Listen, whatever it is or not, I'm not usually an angry type of individual, but when you can't wait to get in front of a group and try to offer up alternative theories and get away and distract away, sidetrack, no different than what Daniel does in the middle of his CBC interviews. Time and time again, it's all sidestepping. Now you're fucking meeting up behind the scenes with Darren Getty's Durwood, your family, and you want to... Dude, you've denied every step of the way. We found the fucking link. We've exposed you, you stupid cunt. And that's what you take up all your time doing. Try to straighten out the never-ending line of people who are misinformed on this situation. All right? I can see what it is that you're doing. Now, I don't care at this point what your relationship is with Daniel, but the fact is that you're colluding with him behind the fucking scenes. He's a suspect in this. You want to come in my fucking chat and try to, what, talk everybody out of asking questions, to think critically, to use their common sense in a circumstance like this, and believe something other than what it is that they see and hear? Fuck yourself. Good to see you, Donna. Well, to answer that question, I forgot about that question, my title. Don't think that actually has anything to do with what we're talking about, by the way. It's just easier for me to figure out something to go and talk about. Because you want to talk about Jack and Lily, but you want to talk about them in a way that is new and fresh to people each and every time. So the best way to do that is speak from the heart. Go unscripted. Go ad lib. Talk to people. You know, you can only talk about what's in the headlines so much. Not to mention, it's nothing to begin with. Let's talk about this case as it should be talked about. Talk about it in a way that most commercial advertisers wouldn't want anything to do. They don't want to have anything to do with child murder. But they don't mind putting all kinds of ads around the mystery. It's funny how Ken admitted he met with Daniel in Durwood last week. That's because he's a big fucking star, dude. Over on the Sunny channel. He's a big star over there. The Whack Pack. Oh, you guys love when people get pissed off. I know it's fun. I'm not that pissed off about it. But I'm not going to be here, bending over to any stupid son of a bitch that's meddling in the case. Especially in a way that's projecting the suspects in this in a positive light. We all already know you're guilty. Not you, Kent, Daniel. You just want to be associated with the guilty parties for attention. Holy fuck. That's all we need. What do you mean? You never see me do that. What do you mean, do what? Ban people all the time. Usually in the comments, I never say anything. I got an extensive ban list. And each and every one of those sock accounts are on there for a reason. Oh, can I drop you the link and you can come up here and talk, get some attention over on my fucking channel? Yeah, I don't think so. You're in the wrong league, bitch. Here I was going to talk all about Peter Hyatt. You got me distracted. I thought it was a good time to take to go and rehash the key principles that Peter Hyatt taught us. When it comes to statement analysis, you could really use this. Peter Hyatt's key principles: words reveal priority and sensitivity, son. The order and emphasis of words, and how and what matters most to the speaker. Sensitive topics cause linguistic bumps like unnecessary details, stalling, or pronoun shifts. For example, in a denial like, I didn't take the money, but my brother might have, the added clause distanced the speaker. Hyatt analyzed parents of missing children. Truthful ones use present tense. She is out there. Deceptive ones slip into past tense. Well, doesn't that fit in with our title? Why it matters? It teaches us the deception isn't in what's said, but how it's said, revealing guilt or knowledge without direct lies. And another key principle of Peter Hyatt's that fits into the question in the title is change of language equals change in reality. Shifts in wording, for example, pronouns or tense, signal a shift in the speaker's internal experience or truth. Unexplained changes indicate deception. For example, if someone says, I went to the store, but later we visited the store, probe the we. It may hide involvement. In trauma cases, like his wife's avoidance of Peter has cancer until forced by reality, it shows protective distancing. Now, why it matters is because it reminds us language isn't random. It's tied to reality. This principle helps analysts spot embedded confessions in interviews. I'm being interrupted. One moment, please. Lily Seigan, thank you very much. It's very generous of you, darling. You change screens. You can read along. This is a very visual chart. It's a very good chart. Key principles of Peter Hyatt. Oh, thank you very much. Hopefully Kent, did Kent get one? Did you get a membership, Kent? Hopefully. You can see all the shit that I talk about you on my members only posts. I actually don't. Let me see. The reliable denial. This is something that you hear over at Mike Demands all the time. A strong, truthful denial is simple and direct, as in, I didn't do the specific action. It must include I, the action, and imply truthfulness. For example, no qualifies like, to the best of my knowledge. Hyatt claims this is 90% reliable. For example, a weak denial would be, I would never hurt a child. A strong denial is, I didn't hurt the child. In his analysis, suspects who hedge, example, I didn't mean to, fail this test. Why it matters is it protects the innocent. Hyatt warned against dismissing simple denials and exposes the guilty through word choice. Its psychology is strong because liars can't commit it to it early. Talk about linguistically committing it to anything. Daniel never linguistically commits to any one point or direction into where Jack and Lily, the circumstances leading up to, or what he thinks may have happened in the circumstance. He thinks anything happened. It depends where he is at any one point in time. Depends the crowd he's around. Guilty knowledge and embedded admissions. Deceptive people leak knowledge through inappropriate details or phrasing they shouldn't know. Embedded confessions hide in plain sight. For example, a negated statement like, I didn't kill him, but he deserved it. For example, in the McCann case, Hyatt noted nostalgic past tense slips as she was beautiful instead of present tense urgency, suggesting prior knowledge. Why it matters is it teaches ethical analysis. Seek truth no matter where it leads, avoiding closed minds. This is used in employment screening to avoid troublemakers. Oh, hold on. It's snack time. Let me see here. Let's go on to the next key principle of Peter Hyatt's. Physiolinguistic profiling. Beyond deception, words reveal personality, don't they, Kent? Example, dominance via imperative language. For tailoring interviews or threat assessments, projection occurs when speakers attribute their issues to others. Well, holy mackerel. Doesn't Daniel fall and classify into that? For example, profile a suspect. Frequent. You, and blaming indicates narcissism. Hyatt applied this to sex crimes training. Why it matters is it builds on basics for advanced work. Example, predicting behavior in HR or therapy. Emphasizes ongoing training. 60 plus hours a month for 100% reliability. Active listening and self-discipline. Ooh, that active listening. I didn't exercise a whole lot of active listening when I was calling Kent a cunt. I should have. Don't interpret. Stick to principles. Record and replay statements. Reverse dulled listening from daily life. Team analysis exposes biases. And I'm biased. I think you can get that already. But it's okay. We've gotten here for a particular reason. I wasn't that biased way back in May 2nd. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Don't interpret. Stick to principles. Record and replay statements. Reverse dulled listening from daily life. Team analysis exposes biases. Yes. For example, seminar exercise. Analyze news quotes. Then your response to peers. We do that all the time. Hyatt provided MP3 lectures for home practice. Oh, you're fucking trying to sell me something here. I can feel it. Why it matters is it's core to his seminars. Truth-seeking requires humility. This is true. He warned oversimplification leads to 70% accuracy. Discipline hits near 100. Do you hear that person who submitted this new tip to the RCMP? Probably only about 70% accurate, maybe. That's okay. At least it has them looking in the right direction. Cooper, are you serious? You think that the RCMP are covering for CPS at this point in time? I can sympathize with your statement. However, that comes naturally, I think, with the sensitivity, and it can look a certain way or look like that because they all work together in circumstances. Especially the media can be used by the RCMP and often is for all kinds, a multitude of reasons. But you've got to try hard not to think that they are going to be covering them when it comes to two missing children that are missing and presumed dead. There's too many people involved looking out for their own self-interests that would and have the ability to be able to call it out. Not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm saying that it's too early, I feel, to really say that in this circumstance. It just comes naturally because you're looking for somebody to blame, right? But here's the harsh reality about life. It's that the system is never going to be perfect. And it's far too early before we know anything. We can see what we can see only so far. But we don't have enough information to then turn and start preaching about what it is that went wrong and why it's the child protective services that have failed. It's just comes from human anger, and it's understandable, but you're making a mistake, essentially. You're taking yourself out of it. You're almost oversimplifying. You're oversimplifying and finding blame to put on CPS. Well, yeah, CPS is there to protect children, but do you really, it's not a perfect scenario because people get lied to all the time. You don't want to really live in a society that comes in and scoops up and steals your kids because of any old report that comes in. You have to investigate these things. I don't even want to be standing up telling you things that you already know. You're allowed to feel that way. But I have to continuously work not to try to find blame and remind myself because I want to blame it on the RCMP because it hasn't satisfied my own entitlement in my mind, right? And that's not fair. each and every situation, especially think about a scenario that you're walking into where they're lying to you. Like it or not, you have to play the game. You have to extract all of the information, true or not, in order to put the pieces together and make your decisions. The good news is that they're always lying for the same reasons. But it takes time to prove lies as well. The more lies that you can put out there, the more load that you can put on the resources that they've dedicated to your case. But I think it's too early for us to start hating on Children's Aid in this circumstance. You can be mad at them. But I think at this point, it's just like a cop-out for your own mind. Like, why would you go and start blaming the establishment when the parents are right there fucking lying to your face in the first place? Get mad at Daniel. Get mad at Malaya. Get mad at Janie. That's who let these children down. You should never feel bad for putting your trust in other people. But, I hate to say but. Doesn't it negate everything I just said? Yeah, okay. So I'll take that back. I'm not going to say but I'm saying so, like Janie. It's a fair question, though. I mean, it doesn't negate the question about being curious about what was going on in their lives and where Children's Protective Services or Children's Aid, where they were in the process. It's fair questions. Don't expect you're going to get any answer because it's not our business. It's protected. Anything to do with the children, they zip up the file and they can hide behind to a degree from public scrutiny and things like that. But it's not because they're evil. It's because of protection of the identity of the child and the victim. Yeah, I can identify the fucking douchebags. You think Malaya knows everything, Calvin James? You want to come in here and start blaming Malaya Brooks Murray for everything? That's becoming a tactic. Anybody, mods, you see that? Time them out for 30 minutes a day. You want to come in here blaming Malaya Brooks Murray and how she knows everything? That would be a line that would suit Janie and Daniel at any point in time. That's not true. We know enough about the situation at this point in time where it's not fair to put that all on Malaya, especially that she's not around to say anything. I'll stick up for Malaya in that sense. There's probably very little that I agree with Malaya in this circumstance, but the one scenario is that she's been used as a scapegoat at any one point in time when the questions and the discussion should be upon Daniel and Janie, and no matter what, the nonsense. We don't need to talk about the nonsense narrative that they told police. Refer to the documents. We don't need to ever refer to those fucking documents. We know how much bullshit they are in there. The fact that you guys want to selectively not remember about anything, and who knows? Maybe the tipster to the RCMP. How do you like that tip, Kent? There's a new tip coming down the line. Maybe the tipster's onto something. In no way am I putting anything, because I'm not putting anything on Malaya in this circumstance. Yeah, there'll be plenty of time for that. There'll be plenty of time for putting blame on Malaya when we figure out the truth. Why is this individual Daniel so keen on getting in front of a camera directing the narrative when he doesn't have anything to do with Jack and Lily? Dude, you're not even a fucking dad. You didn't even marry Malaya. You wouldn't even do the right thing. You just went and knocked her up. You had her all fucked up on drugs? The answer is probably right there, because she was so hooked on the shake and bake that you were so, in need of making so you could pay for your Escalade. Maybe they traded it for a dime bag. Maybe you got traded it for some of the shake and bake. You see that often. I really believe Wade. You know, his suspicion about him manufacturing and selling, I believe all that much more now that I know he drives an Escalade. Is that profiling? Absolutely. Especially an Escalade that you didn't buy new. It's a used one. Fuck, I'd never buy a used Escalade. Those goddamn things. But it's a status symbol, bro. Especially in the elite world of shake and bake manufacturers and drug dealers. And it's a dope-ass ride. But the dude's basically homeless. He's got to live with his moms. It's okay. We've all been there. Always, we're programmed to buy cars that we can't afford. Convince us it keeps the economy going. It's ridiculous. But it's so damn good. I love dope rides. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying it's not as practical in that sense. But we can understand. But anyway, nonetheless, let me flip over here. Let me flip this screen. Tweaking out on this. What is that? NyQuil. Tripping out on this NyQuil.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything.
So what do you make of the fact that they are bringing the cadaver dogs in?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy about that, because it's been about 3 months I've been asking for them, and it's just been delayed I guess till now. But I know things take time and dogs are hard to get.
You're such a tool, dude. Like, who the fuck goes up there and wants... What takes up most of your time? How much that you wanted to bring in cadaver dogs because you were so concerned of filling that hole in the investigation for the RCMP, but in the same time, you know 100% they're not going to find anything on your 2.2 acres of land there that he wants to focus around. Like, that's the real key area. Nobody thinks necessarily that anything is on there. But why wouldn't you? The point is why do you have the need to tell everybody that they're not going to find anything for 100%? That speaks to a person who already knows that he's hiding something, that the dogs aren't going to find it because you've cleaned up too well, or you've taken precautionary measures. Hey, Teresa, you see he just gave himself away? In what way do you think? Let me pull up my breakdown. It's deceptive interview analysis. This is such a deceptive interview, isn't it? Whoops. Let me go back there.
So what does this say to you? Because, I mean, they are dogs searching for human remains.
Well, I know that it's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it. I even hope that they bring more than one dog if they have access to more than one dog.
So what are you happy about? What do you hope this will bring?
I would just like to see maybe the social media speculation theories and accusations, maybe they're not going to stop, but slow down, because at this point they're getting ridiculous.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess. that they're hard at work.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think we'll rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything. I know Malaya.
Oh. Ooh. You even laughed that one off. That's a pretty important key right there. He has a sensitivity. He's learned not to yell. Why is he pulling in other people? Why is he speaking for Malaya and Janie? He knows what he did exactly, Pink Rose. He knows what he did. And he thinks that he can beat all of the statement analysis out there. Fuck, you should have learned a little bit about statement analysis before you went in front of a camera to try to bullshit people. Holy shit. Like, the statements are a great tool for learning. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, he's elevating himself, Sandra. He's speaking for the RCMP as though he's in a position to be informing the public on anything at any one time. He's putting the cart before the horse right there, in a sense. Dude, Daniel, do you not realize that even these so-called school-educated journalists are setting you up? Why do you got the need to be in front of the camera to begin with? Why do you have the need to direct the narrative? Why does it keep coming back to just blanket blaming Malaya? Why would you be blaming anybody? Shouldn't you not really be in the dark? Oh, I've been just totally victimized by people who have obviously come in and kidnapped my children. But you never want to linguistically commit to anything. That tells everybody exactly where the suspect is. See, a person in your circumstance would have a real clear direction of where things went wrong and the potential of where the kids could be, but you don't ever want to speak directly to that. You want to add us some Swiss cheese and have us line up the holes. And hopefully you can be right there to nod.
Malaya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything. Those are 3 people on the property. I mean, after the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the kids.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking weak, dude. The fact that you want to rely on a tool that's known for being so unreliable and not admissible in court, you feel that's your key prop. That's a prop in all of this for you to use for your own innocence. That's a huge red flag to all of the analysts working at the truth detection department there. And everyone else as well, Daniel, except you dumbass. Like, how is it you walk up in these circumstances and say the exact thing that you shouldn't say in order to give yourself away? You really think that you're helping your case? You really think that this is you're only fooling the stupid people, and you're stupid yourself. That's why you're going with it, okay? This isn't going to get any better for you, Daniel. You're not all of a sudden going to wake up and have people any less suspicious. People are going to be growingly more outraged because you're running out of excuses, and I think that's probably what the RCMP are banking off of. If you give somebody enough rope, they're going to hang themselves, and that's exactly what you do up here in front of these, in front of the CBC. Hey, Daniel, you're not even related to Jack and Lily. Why the fuck are you even talking to the CBC to begin with, you guilty son of a bitch? Okay? Why don't you pass it over to Grandma Belinda, somebody who's related, okay? They're much better spokesmen. The reason you keep talking is because you're just as suspicious. The kids were last seen, and you've insisted, and they've given you the benefit of the doubt with this holy narrative that you've presented to them. The fact that there's people out there, your neighbors, that have fucking shot you down early on, really is an inconvenience to you. The gig is up. How long are you going to go through this? How long is it going to take, I wonder, before this son of a bitch breaks? There's not going to be anybody left to blame. What are you going to rely on next month? More Malaya? Are you going to keep blaming Malaya for things that are easily disproven? You can deny any sort of abuse went on under that house. You're going to deny the fact that you guys broke up. She was out of there that day. It has nothing to do with anything. Maybe there's a lot more truth into that theory than we'd like to think. How would we know? We don't. I'm certain in this circumstance that the truth is going to be much more bizarre than we'll ever imagine. To the point that we're not going to be able to recognize it if we did see it. You've got to be expecting that, open to it.
Why do you think that they're not possibly, like, why that they didn't possibly wander into the woods?
Well, with the amount of reason.
Hey, dickhead, that's a real fucking problem, isn't it? Hey, stupid. You're the guys who presented it to them in the first place that they just wandered into the woods. Nobody else. You're the one who introduced that. Now you're contradicting yourself. You're becoming inconsistent. You know within 5 minutes of not finding your children of what you thought happened in that circumstance. Not 4, 5, 6 months, you dumbass. Not after you've had all this time to go around and disinform people about the circumstances and then sort out your best bet.
Resources that were used, and I mean, for everything from drones.
Do you notice, Daniel, that they have you up here saying and talking about how you think that they're not going to find anything, looking that this is going to be coming to a close, and your priority, your innocence is taking priority over the fate of the children at any one time? Why do you think that is, Daniel? Because you're a caring, loving stepfather? You're not even their stepfather, douchebag.
Helicopters to classify technology and all the searchers on the ground. I mean, searchers on bicycles. They did everything. On the pipeline, they took an 18.
You would never, ever focus on anything like this. You're talking about all of the resources that went into a small-scale search in order to rule out your bullshit narrative that you called the RCMP with. These reporters got you trapped up, son. Not one word about Jack and Lily. Just about how this little chapter is going to come to an end.
TVs and Argos and side-by-sides. They used everything they could.
Tell me about, what do you make at this point of the investigation of what RCMP have been doing or not doing? What's your stance on all of that?
Well, I would like to go in for another whole round of polygraph exams. I mean, that would be, and maybe bring some new people in that are doing the polygraph exams. But I know they're hard at work. I've filled notebooks with just trying to help them find leads or.
Can you believe that? Did you? You didn't give me a hashtag free fluffy? Thanks, Heather. Yeah, hashtag free fluffy. I think I coughed. I didn't cough in your ear, though. Coughed over to the side. Apologize. They got you so trapped up here, Daniel. This is what you get. This is what you got to be when you're the spokesman of the Jack and Lily Sullivan disappearance. Guys, you want to tone down the speculation a little bit for Daniel, please? Teresa, tone that down a little bit. Daniel's taking offense. We'll turn the volume down from 7 to 4. Jeff Kelly, we aren't being told the full story on those polygraphs. I think you're absolutely correct. The thing is that people, there's so much misunderstanding and misinformation over a polygraph examination. People automatically, this is why it's such an interest topic, because I think it's the damage that daytime TV of the 90s and into the 2000s have done. You know, when they say it's a tool, nobody can conceptualize what they're going to be using it for. It could be, it depends. It depends. It's not a machine that detects if a person is actually telling the truth or not. It can help in assisting, but along with all kinds of other things. That's me simplifying it, of course. Statement analysis, for example. See, all of those dudes at the Truth Verification Squad, Daniel, would be all filled with so much information about different techniques and frameworks and statement analysis, it would make your head spin. And you can quite clearly see that Daniel probably skipped that class. So we really have the power of suggestion versus statement analysis at the end of the day when it comes to Daniel. And this is fantastic. They should teach this son of a bitch's situation in all, police academies. The fact that you're relying, the biggest red flag in all of that, before we split hairs, is the fact that he is in front of a camera using a prop. The polygraph examination should have told everybody how innocent that they were. That tells you how stupid Janie and Daniel are in all of this. How, as an investigator, couldn't you have just sat there and opened your ears and given them the notebook and said, write me everything that you know? This is like the stuff that you don't even have to get them into an interview room. They're letting it all fucking go, all freely go on social media. By the time they realized that, they was already out of the bag because of the questions that they asked them, how suspicious that they were. But wouldn't that just come along with the territory anyway? You can use the test as just it's a way to bring in other people away from the detectives questioning you in order to ask you the hard questions while they watch you behind the glass. See how you react, respond. And then they come back in and pick up, and they haven't really, in a moment of passion or a traumatic event like this is to Daniel. It is a traumatic event because he's guilty of sin. This is life-changing, Daniel. This is the reason why you guys are lying in the first place. Oh, there's no way you're getting away with this. No possible way. Donna Crustier. Have you noticed how his strategy is to ask the cops for polygraphs and cadaver dogs, and when he gets it, he is so disappointed? Listen, it just speaks to the level of bullshit that he's at any one time spewing. The fact that you're confused is his fault. It's completely both sides of a spectrum. There's no context to it. He's happy. It's like he just got off the ice and you're thinking about rhetorical things to say for the fans between periods. Oh yeah, great hustle out there. I'm glad we almost gave one up there in the end of the second period, but yeah, we'll come out in the third, be strong. Those things to say, and he wants to be that person. That's his biggest mistake in all of this. Thinking that he's going to outsmart even the RCMP. Jumps Flip, thank you very much. It's very generous of you. I appreciate the 10 gift memberships. Ambresia, does the meth change your hair color and skin texture? Anyone know? Ding, ding, ding. You can go and answer these questions yourself. Actually, yeah. Especially when it comes to chromosomal damage. And that's what happens when you get gray hair in that sense. Let's say it accelerates the process. Yeah, he's a user, man. He's getting high on his own supply, like Eazy-E would say. Coming straight out of Garlock. Cooper, it's not gross. It's the physiological effects of the substance. Not to mention all of his neurotransmitters are misfiring. Right away, Malaya suggested that everything Janie was saying was bullshit. She told them everything. She told us, or told Charmaine, Belinda, that what Durwood was walking around saying, what Janie was walking around saying, are absolutely false. We can all pretty much agree that that's fairly accurate at this point, 6 months down the line. Now, it brings you back back to Daniel. What is the need for them to be out here disinforming and bullshitting the public in the eyes of everybody on the backs of Jack and Lily Sullivan? 2 kids who just went missing from their house that they can't wait to put blame on in the circumstance. What kind of individual, what kind of adults would put blame back on the victim, the children that they were supposed to be protecting? What kind of human being would do such a thing? Right from the jump, it was nothing but justifications and excuses and putting blame back on to Jack and Lily for volunteering to walk out the sliding door. But they they give us all of the information. That's what they want us to think. And even look at the amount of qualifiers that he was using in that interview with the Globe and Mail in this latest podcast upload. And by the way, shout out to Haley, Malaya's friend. I dropped her a message on Facebook, by the way. I want everybody to know that. I got in contact with her, Malaya's friend, and told her how much of a good job she did in this circumstance for holding that son of a bitch Daniel to account in the end of the driveway that day. I wanted to make sure that she knew that I thought that was fantastic. That's what led to the fight between Logan and then Janie having to kick them off. So hopefully I opened up a line of communication for the future. Didn't really have a whole bunch of questions that I needed to ask her, but I know that they're in there somewhere. But her friend, Haley, is probably a lot more trustworthy than you want to give her credit for, all right? People who are just getting to know the case or don't know that much about it. I kind of made that mistake in dismissing anything having to do with Malaya early on, and that was by design, by the people who had all of the information and presented it to us, which was old Janie and Daniel here. So here this Haley, by the way, is a VON nurse, which makes me trust her that much more because my mom is a nurse. And nurses are usually trustworthy, most of them, except for the ones that become serial killers. I'm just kidding. Sidetrack. But when I heard her response and her direct denial, like we just talked about one of the key principles of Peter Hyatt's teachings in his statement analysis, she had a direct denial about, and not, listen, I believe her. She was there to be of assistance to Malaya in that circumstance, and being a nurse, I kind of understand why she felt the obligation to be there in the first place. That made me feel a little bit better about the situation.
Give them any kind of small detail, answer as many questions as they can, or, you know.
You got a problem with eye contact, you little bitch. Anytime that he begins to answer his question, he's looking down, he's looking around, and then drums up the courage to raise his eyes just minimally to address the person asking the question.
But I'm doing everything I can. I usually try to meet with them 3 times a week. And sometimes they're not around for that, or phone calls or texts, but whatever we can do.
So I guess to bring it back to the cadaver dogs, since you've been asking for it for so long.
I would say the CBC and the RCMP are the ones who have this stupid son of a bitch exactly where they want him. Shit, why would you have this asshole in an interview room when you can just call the CBC and tap into some of Daniel's everlasting narcissism? Hey, can we come over for an interview there, buddy? This is perfect. Daniel, they don't expect you to tell them the truth in the interview room. Why would they waste? It's like a trip to the mound for a baseball coach. Why would they waste the trip when they could just have you out there, talking all sorts of bullshit to a reporter? Fuck, the reporter doesn't believe you. You know that she doesn't believe you. You don't even believe yourself. That shows. It comes through in the rhetoric that you're spewing, dude. This is about Jack and Lily Sullivan and what happened to them. You spend 0.5% of your time dedicated to Jack and Lily. You just throw them in because you figure that you may as well mention them. But none of the context has anything to do. It just all has to do with your perceived innocence and your need and desire to have to paint yourself as a victim of all kinds of speculation online. You can get the fuck out of the online environment at any point in time by powering down, boy. Oh, it's just so hard to be able to go and watch fucking the Jays game with everybody calling me a child killer. That's your fucking problem. It's one thing to actually have a legitimate alibi and have some rationale behind a plead and just a straightening out of your innocence. I'd have no problem with that. But this takes up 95% of the Jack and Lily Sullivan disappearance is how innocent her and him and Janie are at any one fucking time. The sheer fact tells you that they're guilty. 100x long on that. Yes, Sandy, squinting when the sun is not out is kind of telling. Yeah, he's doing that on purpose to make it look like he's struggling to the sun. It's a fucking overcast, cloudy day there, Vampiro. Oh, cognitive load. It all suggests cognitive load. Need some blue blockers there, boy? Probably with the amount of fucking microwaves that they're beaming down to you at now, keeping you under surveillance. Need some blue blockers.
I guess, you don't have any information on how that will happen?
No, I don't even know where quite they're going to start searching or where they're going to do. Are they going to expand out onto the properties? The property there is fairly small. It's only 2 acres. So. Well,
it sounds like they're going to take the dogs down to Kent's burnt down old shed that he's got a GoFundMe around. They're going to have a snoop around there, a little sniffery poo. Little sniff here, there, everywhere. Let us know how that goes, Kent.
Yeah. Will it be the whole 8.5 that they searched previously?
I don't know. That's a lot. That would be quite a few. That'd be a couple weeks probably on foot.
Oh, what? Dude. You're fucking basically crying. Have you wet your pants yet? Is there a big wet spot in this guy's pants that I can't see? Why are you laughing and shaking things off? It's like you guys aren't quite addressing. Have you asked something that we're not quite aware of yet? Why is there so much insinuation going on here? She's doing everything but bringing up your suspect level in all of this. That's not out of courtesy, Daniel. That's to see how exactly that you're going to play along. You're just instinctively, playing along, shaking things off. Oh, this just, that would probably take too much time, too much of their efforts. Why don't you talk extensively of exactly why you wanted cadaver dogs to be brought in the first place? Why don't you start there? Huh? Without relying on rhetoric or things that you've read in people's, in these Facebook groups, people say. You just adopt and become a chameleon, especially for your PR stunts or your perceived PR stunts. It's really just another flavor of public interview for the world to see in this circumstance. Fuck, Chris Proudfoot didn't even have the balls to do this. You can't wait to get in front of a fucking camera. Dude, you're not even related to Jack and Lily. You're sitting there playing pretend on the CBC. They keep referring to you as something that you're not. Does that not tell you that the establishment, the RCMP, are playing along with whatever fucking bullshit that you told them? It's the public that's just mad at them for doing that. Because they want you to act basically after they realize that you're lying. This is the little bit more rope phase. Daniel, you're not even going to be able to present a good alibi to talk yourself out of this. You've said so much already. Anything else would be a risk of exposing an inconsistency. That's what's going to happen in this case. You're only going to be able to say so much out there, and then one day they're going to, you're going to wake up and hear that they fucking snuck in and threw the cuffs on this son of a bitch at 3 a.m. You're laughing because you don't know what else to think, what else to say to them. You can't believe the question. It's getting a little bit too close to home. The reason that you pull up and have to mention people like Mike Demand and Ninchi and other people on social media holding your feet to the fire is because they're fucking right. And they're calling you out. And it's hurting your feelings. You wish that they would tone it down a bit. What the fuck would that matter? Why is your emotional state priority over Jack and Lily, Meadow, Malaya? You have a need to pull in Janie and a need to pull in Malaya. The reason I think that tip is so clever is because it allows for the fact of the things that we think that it leaves out a certain portion of the Malaya part, because for all we know, you could have been lying to Malaya every step of the way. And I talk about that morning. It was just an extension of the fight that you guys were already in. Now, don't think of this fight between Malaya and Daniel as separate things. This was an ongoing dispute. She never wanted to be there in the first place. All right? She never wanted to be there in the first place. She told Belinda Gray that way back early on through text. I believe that. Remember these texts that she talked to Charmaine with? Is that on your screen right now? Sorry to brighten your day there. It's pretty bright, I know. It's blurry, but just a second. Just a second, please. What makes you say that, Brian Sutherland? Good to see you, by the way. Now the effing cops are telling them what story to stick to? I don't think so. I don't know, but what makes you say that? What are you saying that? Oh, because of how he's saying it? As though he's elevating himself into a position of being a key factor and a key contributing factor to the search for Jack and Lily, this missing persons cases, he labeled it. Yeah, I get you. It's a bit of sarcasm. I'm with you. Yeah, Daniel was very controlling, even to the point of what I wore. Now, do you think, what do you think that means? That Daniel probably has a preoccupation with sex? Give it a refresh, Cooper. Hold on, let me check. I don't think I'm lagging. I shouldn't be. Maybe it is lagging a little bit. You might be experiencing some chop. Even to the point of what I wore. If you guys are... Just give her a bit of a refresh. It might come back a little better. Yes, and he would pick on Jack mostly and sometimes Lily. So he didn't want anything to do with the kids. He just wanted to have his cake and eat it too, and have his little sex slave there as, a go along with his mathematics addiction. A non-stop coke and slut party type of thing. That's what life was to him. That's what Malaya became to him, as just an object, a material object. And she was probably treated as such. She was treated poorly. He was always promising that things were going to get better, and of course they never did. How good are things going to get there? He would hold me down and take my phone. So I couldn't call my mother when I wanted to leave. Key here is this happened often. This happened often. So this sounds like an ongoing thing, her not wanting to be there and him wanting to maintain status quo at Janie's trailer for whatever reason. That is the fight. And that was a continuous point of contention for them. You can tell that he doesn't think very much of Malaya, in the sense that he said that she's not, mentally capable of understanding what it is that she is doing at this point in time. So either he thinks really low about her intelligence, or she could possibly be in the dark to the truth of the matter. You damn well knew in the beginning that he didn't think that Malaya really actually did take Jack and Lily. They utilized our lack of knowledge about the situation in the moment to plant that seed of thought as a possibility to consume the narrative. They took advantage of the fact they knew that Malaya was probably has the fear of God put in her and is refusing to talk. And they have coercive control over her in that manner. And probably there's a whole lot more that we don't know about it. So from the police perspective, from the major crimes unit, the investigators, having him behave the way that he is almost a blessing. He's offering up information. You have to play it out in that sense. You have to let him keep, it's like that. It's almost a rhetorical question, like he's going to keep talking as though that's adding a layer of separation between him and who they think is guilty at any one time. He couldn't possibly be guilty because he's just so damn helpful, isn't he? Yeah, right. That would be one stupid cop. I don't think they're that stupid. They get misdirected in the moment at any one time, but too much time has passed. He does expose himself every time, Robin Edwards. Good point. These statements from Malaya stick in my mind. These are all things that Daniel Martel doesn't want to talk about, is sensitive about. And these are all of the pertinent reasons that Jack and Lily are now missing. Absolutely.
Doing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the documents, and some of the other stuff RCMP has said or done, there's 70,000 drone photos that were taken during the search. That's a lot of photos. I mean, they had to review and do everything. So
So at any one point in time, how is it you can't just get to the fucking point of a statement? What is it you're trying to say, asshole? So what? That's not even... All of his answers to the question are indirect. By the way, your posture and the way that you're expressing yourself using your arms make it look like you're desperate to convince somebody and pleading for them to believe you, as opposed to actually something that's supposed to resonate and instill the point that you're trying to make. You don't have a goddamn point in anything that you said up here, dude. There ain't no fucking point for you to be flopping your arms over. It looks stupid. And it only makes you look like you're an amateur.
They would have found some kind of something there.
Like what? Something. They would have found something there, would they? Listen to the arguments that this guy is making. Not only is that ridiculous, but even conversing on the topic, if you really don't have anything to say about it. You're the one that keeps bringing us here. And you have nothing to say about it. It's almost like every time there's a question asked, it's like you go through this and introduce a different angle, a different perspective. Oh, that's a bad word. A different scenario. You divert our attention away. You sidestep is the best term for it. That's a sidestep. They got you up here and you're telling everybody in the world that they're not going to find anything. Why would you even be putting yourself in a position to tell people that? And it's totally contrary to even want dogs in there to begin with. See, it tells people that you want the dogs in there to help bolster your innocence, as opposed to actually doing anything good and finding Jack and Lily. There's so much to talk about with the potential and the possibilities, and you don't even want to spend 1 minute on that. You want it. You really fucked up here, son. You really fucked up. Like, the fact that you're so adamant, you emphasize 100% would tell people that you know that they're not going to find anything with cadaver dogs because you know the truth to the situation. And you're trying to hide in plain sight.
Even when they brought in classified technology, they scanned the...
Oh, even when they brought in classified technology, the dude wants to make you think that he's knowledgeable about something. Oh, they even brought in classified technology. Yep. Dude, you're not knowledgeable. It's not that fucking classified if they brought it in. Probably classified in like 1999. In the year 2000. Classified technology.
Scan the whole area. They ever found a beaver and a coyote.
You should fucking scan your brain, son.
That's all they found.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
They brought in a beaver and a coyote. So it's something so trivial he adds to all of this. Wow. Do you see what they're doing to you, Daniel? You're offering yourself up. They've wrangled you into a position to have to talk to these. They've put you on the spot and asked you these fucking questions. And they watch how you stumble over all of your answers and how ridiculous they are. You wouldn't have this problem if you didn't do something to Jack and Lily. You wouldn't have the need to be being wrangled up here in front of the CBC for the world to see you. And just how guilty you are. How does any of what it is that you just brought up have to do with your fucking innocence in this circumstance? The fact that you need and feel the need to convince us over some fucking prop that anybody and everybody knows isn't a reliable measure of one person's innocence or guilt in the circumstance, but as a tool, tells us that you're in desperate need to convince people of the Maury Povich factor. You're really playing on that. Dude, you told that tells everybody how guilty you are. Because you are guilty. How are we going to bring this guy back down to reality? A cold night in jail is a good start. You got to get him isolated away. They got to have a reason to be able to hold him. And it's only a matter of time before they're comfortable enough to do that. It's only a matter of time before he says something that's going to be contradictory to the investigation and warrants further questioning. But they're going to do it in a way that makes the suspect in this circumstance feel comfortable. We're fucking just mad at Daniel. That's why we want to see them beat him up with a LA telephone book. Like, admit it. But that's not the way actual police work really goes. And especially if you're trying to extract an admission or a confession. Sure, they're investigating. But all of their best information comes by way of Daniel and Janie in their statements. Something that they clearly disregard. This is why I love statement analysis so much. Because no matter what case you find yourself in, it all comes back to the information that you receive by way this way. We can figure out what exactly has happened in the circumstance. There's a lot of sidetrack, a lot of distraction, of course, but friends, when you can rely back and relate back to these statements and the words that these people use in real time, you can never ever go wrong. And it always directs you in the right direction. There's got to be a better way to say that. Anyway. Seems like he's lost some of that smugness, says Phoenix. Really? Seems a bit concerned, not for the kids. It's almost a fucking joke that this idiot gets up in front of the CBC and really tells everybody just how great this prop is. It's a prop, like in a movie, dude. All you got, and why you're so confident is this stupid polygraph examination. Who was saying that? Jeff? Was that you talking about that there's more to this polygraph? Yeah. Then the cops are leading on. Well, isn't it great for the cops trying to figure something out if this idiot really believes that it's like a get out of jail free card, that it is determinant over whether or not you are actually innocent or guilty in this circumstance? Daniel wasted absolutely no time. He has to be that stupid. He has to be just that stupid because he's still hanging on to it. Holy shit. Holy shit. Daniel, what did you do? What did you do and why did you do it? I'm just curious. That doesn't mean they don't have to. No, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get sidetracked. Oh, Wolf316 says, I have a riddle for the math man. The international sea of the internet is pushing your muddy water, dirty laundry that is raising his lies to the surface. Oh yeah, I love how he fucks up all of these analogies and this cryptic speak for these strangers that he comes across on the internet. Don't go to the dark side, guys. Don't go to the dark side. We gotta give it to Janie. She is protective. Do you guys think it's a possibility that Malaya doesn't know for 100% what occurred that day? I'm just curious. I find it hard to believe, but I still am completely open. I'm open to it. It would account for the need to get the hell out of Dodge really quick because there's no possible way. It might have to take somebody like Cindy to recognize what's wrong with the situation in real time. And God bless Haley for recognizing it at the end of the driveway, recognizing that this dude, like, she's a VON nurse and she's very young. Like, I mean, she's young enough to be around people who are out partying with different substances and recognizing the physiological effects, especially being a nurse. So I trust her at this point in time in recognizing that Daniel was bouncing off the walls, the tweaker that he is, and doing shit in the bathroom. She recognized probably a pattern that was going on already. The bathroom was Daniel's great escape, and he probably spent great amounts of time in there. Turned into a chronic masturbator, probably. I should probably rephrase that. I just don't know how exactly. I think it's possible that Malaya doesn't know, and that really, and that there is a possibility that Daniel was gaslighting and putting one over in real time as a, you know, part of the way that he got to with this control that he has over Malaya and the need to control her. It's probably something that Malaya is not going to really want to open up about someday. Hopefully soon, but you can understand that she's not going to be, I can understand why she wouldn't be all that willing to open up about a lot of the trauma that she's enduring out there. And she's going through it. She doesn't really recognize the level of trauma in that sense until far after the fact. Jeff Kelly says A.B. Daniel could have manipulated her to think she was partly responsible. This is what, yeah, that's a good way, Jeff. Thank you. Exactly. And this is part of the conversation and the need to talk in secret as this was all going on May the 2nd. Like, he was convincing her that Jack and Lily have just disappeared in that sense. And he's going through the motions in order to convince Malaya into calling the RCMP. And she, from her perspective, might be portraying a story from her perspective. In and out of sleep. She might have been drugged. She was already, we're talking about Malaya Wolf. She's already under the influence. And Daniel's slipping some of that shake and bake powder into her drink every now and then to keep her horny, to keep her malleable, to keep her controlled as part of these to help convince her, you know, to put her through mind control, more or less trauma-based mind control. That's what it ends up being. The fucking guy. The guy's saying that he wants to go through another series of tests. Oh, yeah? Oh, I'd really like just to go through another series of tests. All you're doing there, Daniel, is letting people know how desperate you are to get away with what it is that you're doing using this prop. Again, putting too much credibility into a simple prop, which is a red flag. It's a big deception indicator there, Tool. No matter what way you slice it. And no, in this circumstance, there's no possible way that you're innocent, Daniel. You know that. It's one thing if you actually have captured the audience into something that you've communicated that's rational. But you keep coming out with this rhetorical nonsense. 70,000. These drones are supposed to somehow vindicate you. You're hoping it does. That's what this is the thing that's going unsaid in this whole interview. Driving the necessity to convince people of his innocence. Why do you have to be doing that at any point in time? It's supposed to be about Jack and Lily Sullivan. It's supposed to be about two kids who allegedly volunteered leaving this sliding door out into the great unknown, never to be seen again. You know, a big giveaway right away is the fact that he wanted to drive, as part of this coercive control, his cryptic messages to Malaya were the threats that he portrayed in front of the media about all of these loose suspicions, all of this early disinformation. All it takes out there, if you're a guilty party like Janie and Daniel, only has to be one person, two people in the know. You surround yourself by people who trust you, you've known, who are part of your clique, and they'll help you. They're more than likely to believe you in this circumstance until, long after. Daniel surrounding himself with Durwood, Kent. This asshole Kent, so eager to fucking cozy up to somebody who's so obviously guilty of probable murder against two toddlers. Any sex offenders that you want to cozy up to, Kent? You're probably one yourself. Anybody who does that and turns around and wants to go and really champion the cause like they're actually trying to make a point is doing nothing but misinforming and taking away and exploiting the situation that we're really in. You're undermining the severity of the situation. You got a great point, Pink Rosa 777. Innocent people would blame themselves if something ever happened. Yeah, there's no self-blame at all going on at any point in time. That's a big indicator. I keep trying to put myself in the situation. Right away, I don't think that you could fucking get me on TV. I would be so embarrassed to even show my fucking face. I would be so embarrassed to show my face around, let alone get in front and try to convince people of my fucking innocence. Why do you have to get in front of a camera to plead and convince people of your innocence? Don't you think that you should be worried about what the cops think? That's the narcissist in them. The first thing that you would do in front of a camera is tell people what it is that you did wrong or feel that you did wrong in the circumstances leading up to. You guys want to distance yourself. It's all distancing language. You want to distance yourself so far away by telling us that you're drifting in and out of sleep. All three people with the exact same stories. Maybe Malaya was drifting in and out of sleep because she was under the influence of your control powder, Daniel. If you're dealing in manufacturing, that means you are controlling people with your drug. And the first person that he's controlling is the one that he has at home in Malaya.
Well, it just rules out one and brings the book a little bit closer to being closed.
Fuck Jesus. Stuttering and stammering and you don't know what the hell it is that you want to say. And it keeps coming out of your mouth, Daniel. You're trying to bring a little bit of closure to this situation. How the hell did we get here? How the hell did we get here, Daniel? How is it that you're really putting yourself in the situation, elevating yourself into the role of an RCMP inspector here? Talking about ruling things out as if that you're in a situation to be not in the know. You know everything, Daniel, just by proxy. How is it that you're elevating yourself to a factor, a person who can speak on the investigation of Jack and Lily at this point in time? You're ruling things out. You're closing this chapter. You're really closing the book. It's metaphorical. Is that a word? Metaphorical? It's a metaphor. Holy shit. It must be. I'm getting fucking tripping on this. All fucked up on this. What is that? NyQuil. Excuse me. Apologize. Playing Scrabble in my mind. Yeah, metaphorical is a word. I think there's a better way to say that, though, but I can't think of it in real time. Putting myself under the gun. Oh, listen to this again. This guy. I'm convinced of it, guys. I'm starting to be more convinced of the RCMP and the CBC are, like it or not, a part of all of this, because it's where Daniel feels most comfortable. He really thinks that this is doing himself some justice and helping, brainwash and condition the masses into thinking that there's nothing to see here. It's like opening the screen on The Wizard of Oz. This is your little propaganda machine, Daniel. And you think that they're on your side in all of this because of the shit that they're pandering to you in real time. See, way back in the 1990s, all of the things changed when it comes to journalism in that sense. I won't get into too deep of it. But the same applies in Canada as well as the United States, in that, let's say intelligence agencies, investigative agencies are all embedded in and amongst all media everywhere. As part of the 3 eyes of New Zealand, Australia, Canada, UK, the 4 eyes, 3 eyes, 5 eyes, whatever the fuck you want to call that. Daniel is a victim at this point in time because of how he thinks in real time. The things that we don't see. We see Daniel in front of the screen, but there's a reporter right there, and there's a camera guy and a producer, and there's people involved that are all so sympathetic to Daniel at any one point in time, and they just want to help him in this circumstance. That'll probably get you on the Christmas card list at the RCMP in this circumstance. My point for saying that, Ann Warren, was they're well trained in part of their description is being able to be, is understanding techniques and the importance of human nature and what people are really doing in real time, and the importance to pander to them in order to get that almighty piece of evidence that really is what Daniel on the CBC is, a piece of evidence. Nothing conspiratorial about it. It's just part of the big machine. It's different. It comes in line with the Patriot Act in the United States, but on a different level. The controlled media, they call it. But we don't need to get sidetracked.
One chapter at a time.
How have you been doing?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm doing well, but doing better than I was at the start.
This dumbass has laughed 3 fucking times in 3 questions successfully. Oh. What's so funny about Jack and Lily missing, I wonder?
I guess. It's physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting, but every day you wake up and it's a new day. New hope. Just keep going forward.
Tell me about the toll, like what you were just mentioning earlier about social media.
Yeah, social media has been quite a circus, we'll call it.
Like, why are you even focused on what people are saying on social media about the situation? It's affecting you in your everyday life. Well, maybe turn it off, son. Nobody's insisting that you've got to be anywhere. You need to be there in order to direct the narrative. No different than you need to be in front of that camera for whatever reason. Whether you think you're going to get lucky with this broad from CBC Nova Scotia, or she thinks that you think that. You just can't not go for that because it's your chance. to help speak for yourself, and you think that that's going to do you some justice in all of this. This is your loose theory all along, hiding in plain sight, trying to be a part of the search for Jack and Lily, but your statements and your behavior say completely opposite. You're just going through the motions. You actually don't really want anything to happen. You don't know which way you go about the cadaver dogs at this point in time. Look at what you said about them. I've been asking for these cadaver dogs for 3 months, and I'm 100% sure that they're not going to find anything when they come here. So it really tells people that you want them to help assist in ruling things out so that you can capture a little bit more of your freedom potentially along the way. Like that's going to be tangible.
But I can't control them, and they're free to judge, but maybe just use a little bit of this before they start typing, or use an AI for pictures.
I mean, we're coming up on, is it coming up to 5 months?
Yeah, in the second, so yeah, it's less than 2 weeks.
Like, did you ever imagine that we'd be here still talking about this?
No. I thought with the amount of resources and amount of different units for SMP working on it, everything from dive teams to canine units, and they have dedicated teams just for social media. They have a dedicated guy that just sits there and watches highway cameras. So.
What's it been like for you now that we're back to September, school's back, and like
Yeah.
seeing the school bus go by every day?
Yeah, no, it's hard. There's quite a few school buses that go by, and there's a lot of kids in the area.
Daniel, no matter how hard you try, it's like you can't say a nice thing about kids. You don't even like kids, bro. It's hard to see school buses go by. It's like a sad song from the psychedelic area.
I see, and it's sad. It's
sad. Minimizing.
It's not just sad for Jack and Lily, but it's sad for everybody who knew Jack and Lily. They had friends, went to school, and it's just, they had teachers that...
Dude, you think it would have been nice if you fucking combed your hair before you went on the CBC? Daniel, you got bedhead, bro. Is that not bedhead back there? I get the same thing. I probably have the same thing right now, but my camera's not on. I'm not on a Cameo in front of the CBC. I would have taken the time to make sure that my makeup was done properly, that I looked perfect. He's letting himself go. Look, crazy things going on. He's got pillowcase head up there. Maybe he had a hat on. Hat head.
Seeing them every day, and it's just hard on everybody.
No,
so there's a circumstance where he's trying to divert any sort of suspicion and he's pulling everybody else in. He's projecting what is his problem onto everybody else. Classic right there, isn't it? Classic projection, Daniel. You want to project onto everybody else what is wrong with yourself or what is happening to yourself.
I ask you this every single time, but why do you keep doing it?
For Jack and Lily. I don't do this for myself because I'm going to see this online later and people are going to analyze it. Every time I move my hands, every time I open my mouth, every facial expression, they analyze everything right down to a T. I know that.
What would you like the public to know?
I want the public to know if anyone has any information, just...
Fuck, you don't even take your opportunities. You could have looked right in that camera and said, look, all you SOBs out there, I did not harm Jack and Lily Sullivan or Lily Sullivan. I did not harm these kids. But none of that has ever occurred. You want to tell the public that if they have any information, just call it in? Well, I think that somebody took you up on that offer, buddy. Kent's new friend. Your collab buddy. The teacher bought them winter coats, Meep. That makes me sad. Although, sometimes the school lost and found can be a wealth of like a fashion playground. I've noticed that when I was in the school a couple times. I'm like, what is that? Oh, the lost and found. I'm like, holy shit. Look at all those Gap sweaters in there. Oh, might have to take a couple out of there. But I feel like I'm stealing. Thought about it, but I never actually did that. Phoenix, he may have grasped her something. What? He may have gasped her something fierce in the next morning, saying, "It's all your fault the kids got out. You weren't watching them. And you did not even check on them," as she was trying not to wake the baby. Yeah, you're starting to see things. I'm not trying to tell you what to think, but I'm just trying to focus because it's becoming a little bit more obvious to me that there's a strong possibility that they're lying to Malaya at the same time as they're lying to everybody else. Like they've done something potentially behind her back that would have caught her off guard in the moment. And they keep coming back to the fact that she doesn't even watch the kids half the time anyway. Like, Daniel's got to, do all of the parenting of two kids who are coming to school hungry, neglected, and battered. And why does he even feel the need to do the interviews? Because, well, he has the need to convince us because of his guilty knowledge and guilty conscience and all this circumstance. I guess that's kind of a question that we're all here looking. So what do you think happened to Jack and Lily, Daniel? He doesn't want to talk about that. It's very sensitive. No, I don't think that's the way to think about it, Ambrosia. Yeah, she might have stolen from Patty, but the fact is that she was trying to get out up until last December. Daniel kept promising her. She's being coerced. She's being actively convinced. Think about what Malaya is going through. Think about the type of individual that has gone through all of these interviews and how guilty he is. Think about the level of gaslighting that Malaya would have been under. And another way that's not completely accurate, Ambrosia, is that she was offered a house by her grandmother, and she turned it down to be with Daniel. She turned that down, a place on the reservation that would have been a stable home for her. Yeah, there's a level of coercion and control going on here. Well, there's this constant loop. There's a little bit of a trick to, I think, what he's doing in that it gives people something to talk about and therefore him something to look like he's proactive about, kind of like he's using us like he used that pink blanket in the tree, a reason to be involved and have to explain to people one way or the other. And when you can put yourself in that position, you can manipulate people. And that's really what, in fact, he's doing. He's trying to manipulate. And he's probably done the same thing in his personal relationship with Malaya the entire time. Thank God she's out of there, but I wish she got out of there in December. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, though, but man. He needs to be in charge of whatever it is that's being talked about. So it forces him to be in front of the camera to offer up the rationale as to why something hasn't worked out, or you can only do that so long though. And he's running out. Like there's no other alternatives left. There is no mystery here in the circumstance. No matter how much he tries, there's no such thing as a disappearing child. The fact that he doesn't even want to profess his desire to figure out the truth amongst such convolution and mystery, he doesn't want to focus. He wants to add some sort of rhetoric and justification in order to Close the chapter, he says. As opposed to actually wanting to figure out what's really going on here. Which should be an easy answer. Unless you're the guilty party. Unless you're the suspect. Like, it's easy as peasy. Annette Conway, you're saying he hurt the kids to hurt her? I think it's probably a safe bet, you know, indirectly. Like, the children are an extension of Malaya in that sense. And that's a common thing in abusive relationships. I think it's probably a strong bet. But that was going on all along, wasn't it? The kids have... He's got to discipline the kids. Malaya says that Daniel's got a voice that the kids listen to. Yeah, he fucking yells at them. He fucking screams at them. He threatens them. He hits them. He's out of control. He can't control his own emotional state. He can't control his addiction to the Tina, the jib. You shouldn't be on it. And the lying comes along with all of that. He's been lying for a long time, hiding his lifestyle in that sense. That's why he seems like a sex offender. Because they lie. Addicts and sex offenders lie in a very similar manner for the same reasons. It's because they're hiding who they really are. Oh, no. You can't think this. This is the reason why I'm crying. Even Janie subscribes to this way of thinking. Fuck, you guys must sit around all day and just bullshit each other. You're not getting very good practice. Excuse me.
Please come forward. Call the RCMP. Call your...
Shut up, asshole. Listen, you had your opportunity. You want to say anything to the public at this point in time, and you want to encourage some more people call in with some weird tips? You got exactly what you asked for. You know, it's not necessarily that he's bringing it up and encouraging the tips. It's just the question that was asked. Like, it's almost inappropriate for the question that was asked. You want to encourage tips at this point in time. This is your adaptation.
Everybody basically in the world at this point is always wanting to know, like, what happened. It's been from sadness to anger at this point. And I know the RCMP and major crimes are working around the clock trying to piece everything together, and I'm grateful for that. But it always leaves the question, 6 weeks has gone by, and we know at this point they're not in the woods. And where are they?
Hey, asshole, that's not a question. That's a question. That's a question you need to ask, not ask as like a group. That's your problem. I think by now they're not in the woods. Probably knew that within 10 minutes. Yeah, you be good, Brian Sutherland. Don't get too worked up about this.
Did you feel in the beginning that they suspected you?
Of course. The stepfather was always a prime suspect right off the beginning.
Oh, in the beginning. Of course. Of course I would be looked at as a suspect. I'm the stepfather. Mm-hmm. And then?
You felt that from the beginning?
Yeah.
But you don't feel that now?
No, I don't feel that at all. I asked for the lie detector.
That probably tells you that the investigators are doing a good job if the suspect doesn't think that he's a suspect anymore. Maybe they're just feeding wouldn't you as a homicide investigator to a degree want to feed into the ego of the suspect in order to encourage more conversation? Oh God, really? You're innocent in all this? Oh, thank God. Thank God you're innocent. Thank God you're innocent. See, it's one thing to be here and acknowledge the fact that you're a prime suspect in all of this, and then go into great detail about exactly the reasons why you look like a suspect, okay? You have to own it. There's a term in statement analysis for it, but it escapes me now because of the NyQuil. But self-ownership. He's not owning any sort of responsibility in this circumstance. He's put it all onto the kids as if that's a thing, and not really actually the red flag it is. It's a red flag every single time. He's a victim of circumstance, and it's the kids' fault for wandering out the doors and getting themselves lost, or God knows what happened to them, and that's where he wants us to believe he's staying. That's where he is psychologically. What are you, nuts? Answer is that yes, probably.
The exam, the polygraph exam, I gave them my phone. I told them I do drug tests, because there's a lot of rumors online about a drug party. I know the person that said those rumors.
See, even this little conversation now, it's not even coherent. You want to speak to rumors online about being a drug party? This is a dude. Here. Malaya, what did you have to say? Yes, he is a drug addict. I found out when he was doing drugs the night before I was going to be induced with meadow. Starting to believe more and more of that every step of the way, Malaya. He was not making or selling that I know of, but he kept telling me that he's keeping her in the dark about a lot of things. When I met him, I had no idea of his drug use. Yes, Daniel is narcissistic and very controlling. Unfortunately, no, Belinda did not control me. However, she did know her son Cody was cheating on me with multiple women and never told me. Well, one good turn deserves another. As far as she led on, she never had a problem with them, meaning Janie. She did treat them a bit different than her grandchildren. Are you sure you would be able to tell the difference? I was baffled when she said she found them annoying. Yes, her words are bullshit. I would speak to her and give sympathy when she would come over and talk about her medical issues and Timu orders she would receive. I was not a mean person. She was worried her dog would get out and bite somebody. The police searched it about 3 times that I'm aware of. Key point to all of this is yes, he is a drug addict. And Daniel has admitted it since. So when you look back and the rumors from the neighbor turned out to be true, but what Daniel did was spin it and twist it and obscure it with a bunch of disinformation, a bunch of nonsense, because at no point nobody was ever really talking about a drug party or a party. The report from the neighbor was the report from 12 o'clock to 5 a.m. that there was a 5-speed noted, very specific, coming and going 5 different times from a neighbor to the property who was working on their vehicle in the driveway. And this is his response to it. He's just trying to get the heat off himself, something that you should be able to elaborate on. He just wants to offer up as a logical, reasonable answer to all of this, when in fact there is none. But we would never be able to identify that in the moment. Do you understand? He's preemptive in all of this. Way back then, he's already responding to the immense pressure that I feel that the RCMP had put on him. Not to mention the pressure. You don't have to put a lot of pressure when you're holding back guilty knowledge. We all know he is. It would be impossible for you fucking not to know, douchebag.
And it was just to take the heat off themselves.
Was there any kind of party?
No.
Was there any kind of gathering that
No.
someone might have thought was a party?
No.
There were no people at the house?
No. Not the night before.
Okay, you mentioned you offered to take a polygraph test.
Yeah.
Did the RCMP take you up on that?
Yes, they did.
And how did that unfold?
That unfolded in my favor. They obviously know I wasn't lying about anything.
So they said, yep, great, thank you, come in
Yeah.
for a polygraph test.
Yeah, it took a little while to set up, and
When did you do that test?
I don't know the exact date, but that would be at least 3 weeks ago, probably.
So roughly 3 weeks after the disappearance.
Yeah.
And I think most Canadians wouldn't have any idea what's involved with that. Can you describe the process? You go in and just tell us right from the start.
We go in, sit down in a big comfy chair, and they have multiple sensory pads. You have them underneath your forearms, you have them underneath your butt, and you have them underneath your feet with your shoes off. You have a sweat gland on one finger. You have a measuring instrument for blood flow that goes in and out of your hand. And you have a cuff on your arm for blood pressure to measure your pulse.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was extremely nervous. Especially with the first question they asked you, did you kill Lily and Jack?
Do you see the irony here, folks? He's so effing nervous. He's so effing nervous about the polygraph examination, especially about the question over whether or not you killed Lily and Jack. You kind of give yourself away there, didn't it? An innocent person wouldn't be nervous at all. They would probably be eager to get through it, but a little uncomfortable. You're shitting your pants, you're nervous. Oh, that's guilty knowledge. You're hiding guilty knowledge. They didn't need a polygraph to hook up. They just needed the threat of a polygraph. It's not an easy button like you want it to be. Fuck it. It served its purpose. You're just admitted to them that you probably did it. Because a guilty person having to go into that environmental this environmental factor, it would be a little pressing. It would be making you nervous, wondering what they had in store for you. If you were an innocent individual, like you want to portray, you were so eager and volunteering to take it in the first place, you wouldn't be nervous, douchebag. It would be a part of the process, a step in the process to rule yourself out. That would be the focus that you want to talk upon, and that's all. You want to emphasize and make it out to be like, think about what he sounds like to the polygraph examiners. This has to be just a cakewalk for them. Really, they're just registering what that waveform pattern looks like when they asked you that question. It didn't come all of a sudden, a genie pop out of the bottle and said, hey, this guy's fucking guilty, arrest him. It's a process. They already know that you killed Jack and Lily. You just admitted it. And you still can't shut up about it. How the hell is this happening?
That was the first question they asked you.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
What went through your mind when someone's asking you that question so point blank like that?
Your mind.
Think about this. He had to sit there and think about it. What's going through your mind when somebody just asked you if you killed Jack and Lily Sullivan? And you want to think about it and describe? I'd be like, next question. What the fuck are you talking about? What? What do you mean, how did I feel? This feels like shit. It's ridiculous. I'm worried sick about Jack and Lily. Why is everybody focused on me at this point? But he doesn't say that. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, hurry up, let's get this done and over with so I can get on to finding out where the fuck my kids are. Sooner the better. This is talking about a polygraph like weeks after the fact. No, there's no perfect crime. But, maybe the RCMP want him to think that way, Mission 1.
Has a massive release of chemicals, I guess you would call them. It's like your stress levels just
Dopamine.
Astronomically through the roof, and your body.
Is that what it is? Do you think that that's going to be the same for everybody and all people that take a polygraph examination, or just Daniel? What's it like? I'm not sure. That certainly wasn't the first show, Cooper. Maybe the first one that you watched. Yeah, that's just family members. We're trying to figure out who was family back then. I'm not sure who that person is. If that is a family member or not, you would think so, but you can't get, verification off of the suspects in that sense.
He doesn't know what to do. because it's not every day the way you're hooked up to machines in an interrogation room where someone asks you questions like that.
What other kinds of questions did they ask you?
All the questions pertain to the death of Lily and Jay. Are you accessory to the murder of Lily and Jay? They were all.
So all of the questions...
Oh shit, that should be fairly easy to pass. He doesn't even know what an accessory means. Are you an accessory? Well, thank God I don't know what that means, no.
Assumed that the children are no longer alive.
Yeah.
There were no questions at all about, did you take them somewhere? Could
No.
they be somewhere?
No.
The police have done a number of polygraph tests. They've done 53 formal interviews. Do you know who these people are?
Yeah.
That's a lot of interviews.
It is a lot of interviews. A lot of them are my family, people that live in the area. And those interviews, typically, my interview was 4 hours. And a lot of the interviews from my family were 1-2 hours. So there's a lot of time taken up and they ask detailed questions.
Do you know who else actually took a polygraph test?
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to say anything that's going to impede the investigation.
Okay. When did you find out the result of your test?
Immediately right after.
What did they say to you?
You did a good job, you passed.
And how did that feel?
Good.
Oh, good. Felt good.
Did you feel that there was any further suspicion on you after
Like a massage on a warm beach.
that point, or was that sort of conclusive?
No, that was really when I seen the turning point for it starting to taper off with investigators.
Do you know if Malaya has taken one?
I don't know if I can say it, but I will anyway. Yes, she did take one.
Okay, she took one. Do you know the result?
No. RCMP weren't allowed to tell me I asked.
You said you feel like everyone in the world wants to know what happened to Lily and Jack.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think this is getting so much
See, he asked. He's probing investigators. He's in the need to be around to stay ahead of things.
attention?
Well, just the mysterious and nature of everything and how strange everything is. The RCMP, you know, I mean, they have to keep a tight lip on everything, but there's a lot more that meets the eye with the case.
Is there something that you think the public doesn't know that you can share, that you want the public to know?
That's a hard one because I don't want to impede the investigation in any way. It is still a missing persons investigation. It hasn't.
Hey, Kent, that's something that you and Daniel have in common, asshole. You needing to control the narrative, whether it's in my live chat, Mike Demands live chat. Why is it that you need to be elevating yourself to a person of knowledge when I have read so much blather and bullshit that you want to program into the minds of people who ask you questions? You're a fucking retard, pal. You're as dumb as they come, and you're sitting over there speaking as though you're a person of knowledge. Just another thing you and Daniel have in common. That's need to do that really in this situation intrigues me, Kent.
Pivoted to any type of criminal investigation, but the kids were seen the day before. I know a lot of people didn't know that. I still see a lot of stuff online that the kids could have been missing for days. They were out of school for days, and they were seen in the Glasgow area on camera the day before this appearance in the afternoon.
Where was that?
I don't know if I can.
See, that's interesting. That's interesting. This is one time where Daniel acknowledges the timeline in its sketchiness, and it's filled with holes. Daniel, you could talk to great extent on the things that happened or didn't happen, but the point is that you want to avoid it at all costs, as though it's trivial and has nothing to do with the scenario. And that process that you're demonstrating tells us that you have something to hide. And you are hiding something. You want to revert back. allegedly heard the kids not long ago, and you want to talk about the last time that they were seen on video camera days earlier. That's just a fact of the case, a verifiable fact for people that are watching and looking in. You, on the other hand, should and could be able to talk about all of the things that you did in between that time, but you don't.
I can say that, but it was near the Highland Square Mall.
Was it with you?
It was with me, Malaya, and Meadow, and Willie and Jack were there too.
And are the police aware of that?
The police were aware of that since.
Do they have that video?
Yes, they do. I also talked to my coworker in the parking lot as well, and he verified that with investigators as well. So.
Way to make it look like you have a job. Who's your coworker? You're even being protective of any sort of information. You're being a little overprotective in this interview. You should be free-flowing with all sorts of information. There is absolutely no reason to be protective of anything that should otherwise be of public interest in the case of two children that you want back, that have just gone missing. You want to overwhelm the public with as much information as possible. And you're sitting here being careful and not wanting to impede the investigation into you. You're forgetting the rest part of that statement. The investigation into you, not the overall Jack and Lily investigation. There's absolutely no reason to be hush-hush about anything.
For all the speculation, they were gone days ahead of time, or they were seen the afternoon on camera before the disappearance.
Why do you think the police are asking for video dating back, days before that?
Well, the reason for that is they want to see the traffic of the vehicles on the roads in the area, right? Maybe vehicles that were traveling that area a lot over the last few days prior to hand, or vehicles that, weren't seen in the area, or vehicles that were seen in the area, like local people that are, making frequent trips past the house, or which it's all considered evidence. I mean, the more pictures and videos is the better.
They say they have.
Oh, they got 70,000 drone photos out there. More photos, the better. You got to make it sound like you're hopeful that they're going to get something. I'm so hopeful that they'll find something. Talking about that without actually... Why would you, as a person in this circumstance, want to say that when in fact you would be more, you want to take your precious time? That's a great face on this interviewer, by the way. Sorry about that. She's being pretentious. She's playing a part there, you can tell, isn't she? She's really putting it on, laying it on thick. Daniel, you should be using all of this time to be talking about what you think happened or who just fucked you over and kidnapped your stepchildren. You could be taking all your time into talking to grave detail about that.
Have hundreds of hours of video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if they found anything on those videos?
I think it was up to 2 weeks ago, they had footage that they examined for evidence that was 8 kilometers diameter out from the house. So.
Now, did you guys pick up on what he just said there? Exactly. None of it made fucking sense. Hey, stupid. What is it you're trying to fucking say here? He's remembering talking points from the RCMP and just wanting to offer them up as opposed to something intimate and personal, which would be the point of having a Cameo interview on the CBC in the first place. See you later, Grove Cat. Good night, darling.
Oh, that was after a month. That's how long it took to get footage and review it 8 kilometers out. So
But what's on the video?
I don't know. I'm only limited by what they tell me.
How often are they in touch with you?
Investigators now, I'd say maybe once every 5 days. And usually I'm the one who...
Man, oh man. 3, 5, 7, 1, mostly.
calls or messages them.
And how's that changed over the course of the 6 weeks?
Well, from the beginning it was almost daily, tapering off to where it's only like once every 5 days now.
And how do you feel about that?
It's good and bad. I mean, I like to talk to them in person about any little small details I come up with or anything I can try to bring to their attention which may help the investigation. So I don't get to see them often, so it's always over phone or messaging, and it's hard to really convey what you want to say when you're not in person.
Oh, it's okay. They pick up enough of your talk over social media.
But then I also know the eye's not on me.
Is that the same fucking shirt? Is he wearing the same shirt in both interviews? Fucking right he is. Dude, do you not fucking change your shirt? You wore the same goddamn thing in both interviews. How can that not be funny? I'm trying not to make that funny, Wolf. I hope Mike Demand's going live tonight. Dude, how seriously can we take you, fucking Mr. Escalade, driving around in the same goddamn shirt? Maybe you've got two of the same kind. That's just bizarre. In that stupid chain of yours. Oh, yeah. Ooh, love it. Not even a hair out of place. You look like it's identical. Who does the makeup? Man, he really is they're going to love him in the prison system. He's going to make somebody a nice wife someday.
Local police department. The investigators don't see me as part of the disappearance.
How do you know that?
Well, when you're going from daily to tapering off every 5 days, I mean,
Hold on here. Are we going to go for the same pants too? Hey, I don't mean to be a stickler, but those are the same fucking pants too, and the same shoes, the same exact outfit. Your mom probably bought it for you for Easter. That's a good boy. That's a good boy, Daniel. So, you could probably have done a little better, I'd think. Like, there would be no fucking way you'd even catch me. Don't even care about that. I don't care about shit like that. But this is something. Like, you got the same exact clothes on, right down to the underwear. They must be good luck. Maybe he's had to throw every other piece of clothing he's owned out because it's got evidence all over it in that circumstance, and he wasn't going to risk that. You couldn't have gotten your mom to get on Temu and gotten you a pair of like camo shorts and a hoodie or something like that for $40. I'm not even hating on this brother, but I mean, I hate that. Like, we're all going through tough times, and I'm like, God knows I wear the same pants every now and then, but we're talking about a CBC Cameo interview here. We're talking about, okay, this is going to be forever type of thing, and you'd probably want to look your best. It's like wearing sandals to your wedding or something. Maybe he needs a girl. He needs that womanly touch. He needs that. I can respect that. Holy mackerel. Shit. You're making it easy for people out here to go after you. That's what it is. Heaven's sakes. What do you guys make of that? I mean, I've seen some really bizarre things. Like, I remember this one time. My mom, we went to a wedding. I can't remember whose wedding it was. It was ages ago, decades ago. It's had to have been back in the 80s or 90s. But I couldn't effing believe it because my mom had the exact same dress on, the exact same dress as the bride's mother. It was like this blue, flowery, puffy shouldered, elbow padded kind of ensemble dress. And I was so fucking taken aback. It's like, what are the odds? It was amazing to me that two people would have the exact same ensemble. It was crazy. I went on about it forever there. But it's kind of like the same thing, but not. It's not really the same thing because it's the same dude. He's got the same clothes on. It probably speaks to just how fucking lazy he is. Do you think? Usually, and a lot of times, when you're fucking around with chemistry, this is why you wear lab coats in the lab, okay? Because things get on it and all of a sudden it doesn't look the same anymore. There's burn marks in it. It's holy. It's being eaten and it stinks like bleach or something. Wonder if that's what's happened to old Daniel here. I mean, this is the best thing he's got to wear. Man, I don't know what to say.
I already gave them everything on my phone. I'm the one who originally said, here, take my phone. We'll go through all my banking information. We'll go through all my stuff on my GPS from Google.
And you were offering all that up, right?
Yeah, I offered everything.
And why were you doing that?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? What an astute question from the reporter. Yeah, why were you doing that? Now, Daniel, before you answer that question, do you understand how weird that looks? Even for a person who is innocent? This has been a pattern of behavior for Daniel. In that the pattern is him using as an excuse and a justification something that's so shallow and obviously not there. For example, the prop, which is an indicator of deception. He's using the polygraph exam as a prop. Really, that's what it is to his innocence in the disappearance of two missing kids. That tells you just how desperate he is. Do you think he actually really believes that? Because even a simple Google search will probably straighten you out about all of that, Daniel. But here he's offering up to make it look, and he wants us to believe that he believes that. So therefore, we're more likely just to go along with anything he says and overlook it in the moment because we're so thirsty for any information. And it's effective. Lying is effective. In real time. That's the only time it ever matters. In the moment.
To show them that I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is you killed the kid.
Hey, bros, here's my fucking bank account. It's not too much you've really got to sort through. Everything's at zero and always has been. It's not like it's going to be a great big audit here. Danny looks like he's going to sneeze here. I didn't kill Jack and Lily.
Kids. It was
No, actually,
nothing to do with
no. That's not even good enough, Daniel. Listen, that's not. Remember what some key principles of Peter Hyatt? What does he teach us? What does he teach us? Spin over. Where's Grok? What does he teach us? The reliable denial. A strong, truthful denial is simple, Daniel, and direct. I didn't do specific action. It must include I, the action, in implied truthfulness. Example, no qualifiers like, to the best of my knowledge. Hyatt claimed this, yeah. But what we're talking about is the fact that he is using the term the kids as opposed to I did not, more specific, kill Jack and Lily, or better yet, harm Jack or harm Lily. two separate children, as opposed to grouping them in, which would be a red flag, son.
With any of it, a lot of speculation is
I didn't have anything to do with any of it. Vague and generalized. Another red flag indicator. Getting good at this fucking shit, bro. I love this. Love being right all the damn time. You like being right all the time too? You're gonna love Peter Hyatt and statement analysis. That should be a slogan. You guys like being right all the time? Well, take my statement analysis course. That's Steve Johnson. He's another statement analysis that I've come to like. That Steve Johnson. He's been on Chris McDonough before. But he has a good thing going too. You get up into your Google and ask them about what Peter Hyatt or what Steve Johnson's statement analysis teaches us, and you can get into it too. You know, it's that easy. The fact that you're, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And it gives your mind some place to focus on in crises and tragedies like this that are worthwhile, as opposed to what people like Daniel would want you to believe. He's constantly up there having to convince you, asking you to believe him at any one point in time. No. We don't have to believe you.
I want to get the investigation moving. I know I have nothing to do with any of it. A lot of speculation is...
That's so vague, isn't it? I know I have nothing to do with any of it. Any of what? He's already implied that there's an it that he knows about. So what is it? What is it? Is there a song? Ooh, what is it? No, that's... Who is that? Butthole Surfers? Oh, there's a song in my head, but it's gone. Anyway. It's vague and generalized. He's implying that he knows that there's an it to even say that he's not even a part of it. Well, what part of any of it? The generalized disappearance and the, what exactly specifically are you mentioning or thinking of? See? Indicator of deception. It's nonstop with Daniel, isn't it?
You killed the kids.
That's the way it feels like.
Come out and say it straight as it is.
What do you think when you read that?
It's a lot of nonsense, obviously. I know the truth. I didn't kill Lily and Jack. And I just think a lot of people online they're seeking drama. That's the main thing.
Well,
everybody's allowed their own opinion, like I said before, but it's hard on the people that were actually there and missing.
No, that's not a falsehood. It is hard on the people that aren't there. When people don't believe your story, it is hard on the people that are trying to get away with it, isn't it? He's really begging you to believe him, because it's hard on them that you don't believe him. People are speculating that he's killed Jack and Lily, but it's really hard on the people that were there who were trying to get away with this. You don't have any answers, and the crap that you expect us to believe in light of two children just magically disappeared from your house is insulting to everybody's intelligence, assholes. Something that you should have factored in before you came up with the cockamamie tale. The fact that you weren't going to be able to speak at any great detail upon it. It's just is as it is, and when it comes down to it, it's Malaya's fault for not watching her kids. Malaya made me kill those kids because she wouldn't watch them. It wasn't my job. That's what you've otherwise really told us through your statements. If you don't mind me being a little bit more direct. The fact I couldn't believe it, this asshole is talking about taking Meadow to go up and visit Malaya in prison because she's responsible for whatever happened on the May 2nd. It's amazing. These people want us to believe that their memories are so as if they don't remember anything. They've overcompensated. They've overused the not remembering. That comes through in the paperwork. And these are just basic paperwork for reasons why they needed to get the search warrants. You know what the reason they had to get the search warrants? It was in the paperwork. And you should highlight every time that you assholes said that you can't remember, from everything that what the kids were wearing to what you were doing, where things were, who you couldn't even think in the past 12 hours. Why? So there's reason at the time to go and get the warrants to continue on.
The children. Still haven't got to see any of my kids, including Lily and Jack. And that's been really tough, going from a family of 7, including...
You notice that they've edited Pete's parts out of this? They've edited out parts. I'm going to have to go back and compare.
My other 2 kids that live in Halifax now. Going from a family of 7 in the blink of an eye, your family's ripped apart and you're left alone.
Ooh, I don't remember. Maybe I missed it. Seeing the part where he was going to go take Meadow up and visit Malaya as she's in prison. He was implicating that she was guilty in this circumstance. They've edited that out. Thank God we got it in real time. Isn't that interesting? That's going to be a new topic for a next video. Excuse me, all to heck, friends. What are you saying, Phoenix? They should have asked him if he was concerned. They should have asked him if he was concerned Malaya was leaving him. What would he do to prevent her? Well, you have to hold her down. What did he do after she got back into bed and fell asleep? What do you mean, on the second? And then what? And then what? Well, all of that you would think would be in the formal interviews. Like having an accurate account of what happened that day and, you know, having to give it up to the police in the moment. Silver Gold Geddes is a shifty guy, in your opinion? Him, Daniel, Janie, and Malaya. When will someone be arrested? Well, what's the hurry? What's the hurry? Are you not entertained? Are you not engaged? Are you not tickled? This is why this is a shitty job. It's a shitty job these cops have to do. There's rules. Mr. Hemi, you're just another with Belinda derangement syndrome. Who are you talking to? What is that? Belinda, who's got Belinda derangement syndrome? Not me. I love her. I love her so much. I've got love for her. Malaya prison? No way. Healing Lodge? She gets a whatever that is report. Oh, Mr. Hendry, I think I don't know what she is doing at this point in time. She needs to be deprogrammed. She needs to be deprogrammed with a psychologist, and they need to figure out a way to bring justice to Jack and Lily from wherever they are at this point in time. And that has everything to do with confronting the deceit and the lies that are going on, because it's for a reason. They're misleading you for a reason. Because, in fact, they are guilty of doing something that they sure probably regret at this point in time. But at some point, they had to have used some forethought and premeditated at least one of the deaths, we'll call it. But if they planned one, what would you say that, why not 2? How come it's not 2? Like, almost like somebody arranged an unfortunate accident. Laid a trap. And entrapped. I guess that would be another term for it, laying a trap for the kids. So there's a lot of talk about maybe because the risk factor of the substances that were being used for sure in the house for the past 2 years. were a factor in the deaths of at least one of the children. Well, what about the second one? Maybe it was administered to Malaya as well, and she was made to be sedated. She was sedated to the point of being in a zombified effect and not really with it, while all kinds of other things went on. And it went a bit too far. No matter what that answer is, there is premeditation, there's guilty knowledge, and the suspects aren't afraid to continue the line of falsehoods and false narratives at his desperate attempt to try to make it look and at least raise a doubt. To instill enough doubt is all they're really needing to go for in all of this. Plausible deniability, and they're searching for it. There's no, there has not really been any reason or any plausible deniability presented in that way, by way of Daniel or Janie. But it can't be that different to what they said to police. It's probably close, even though it's been inconsistent, and we've pointed out the inconsistencies. Believe me, they already know. What are you talking about, Miss K? Oh, you took that statement away from me, darn you! Oh, the very same day you're talking about them going to get your blood work done, check for any rugs of things. Oh, I don't know. I don't need to go that far. That seems so cold, though. Man, that's cold as ice. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, it leaves it so open, like he gives us so much. We have every reason to be speculating. I mean, there's 2 children's lives at stake here. You think that they planned more, they planned it out a lot more, or he planned it out a lot more to be an accident in order to make his life better with the one that he was probably obsessed over? Because that just goes along with the drug abuse as well. That would be common. All right, guys, I'm going to get off. It's 3.5 hours. Hopefully, I'll send out some positive vibes to Mike Demand, and he's going to go live tonight, continue the conversation. I know that he'll probably have something more interesting to speak about, but I'm glad we spoke out. And, yeah. So thanks for stopping in, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll pick it up where we left off, y'all. I'm going to get some much-needed rest. A little more NyQuil for this brother. Good night, sweet tea. Peace.
Ba-ba-ba-ba.